2. Mic check 1, 2. Okay, microphone check 1, 2. We're loud and clear. Okay. Everybody else send me the. Okay, all right. All right. Yeah. Okay. Whoa. Yep, yep, yep. Okay. Yeah, 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 yeah.
night. Okay. Okay. Let me say good night to everyone here. And of course, in a special way, we'd like to welcome our Prime Minister with us tonight here, the Honorable Dr. Roosevelt Skerritt. And of course, my colleague as well, to Honorable Kelvedaro. As you know, tonight is a very, very wet night in this part of the Roseau Valley. And it's been raining since morning. As a matter of fact, the plan was to have the meeting outside, outdoor, and we put our tents up. But when we woke up this morning, the tents, they all crashed. So we had no choice but to come here and to have our meeting. And we're very, very happy to be here tonight, at least under shelter. We have a reasonable crowd so far, but we're expecting more people. But definitely it's raining here seriously. And of course, we are being aired live on the radio stations. And I'd like to, say a good night to our listeners who are listening to us tonight via the radio. And of course, to welcome every single person here at Cochrane. I'm urging some of our folks, you can come to the front and then we can use the back as the spillover area. Okay, it'll be much easier for us. So at this point in time, I would like to call on my good friend here, our pastor here, to invite some divine environment for us. Pastor, we welcome you here.
Say good night to everyone as we bow our heads together. And we talk to God in a word of prayer. O eternal God and heavenly Father, in the name of thy Son, the Lord Jesus Christ, our Savior, we assemble here tonight, Father. We come, O God, to discuss the way forward for the village of Cochrane. We are thanking thee, our Father, for this fine opportunity whereby we can meet with our government, representative, and our Father, even our Prime Minister. We are thankful for them and we pray for journey mercies, our Father. Thank you for bringing them up safely. And we are praying in advance for journey mercies back home. But our Father, despite the unfavorable weather, we thank thee that many of us are able to brave it. And we're looking forward for more than this to be here tonight. And so, Father, to join in the fine discussion and the questions, of God, that may be asked. And that, our Father, when we live here, we all will be pleased for the way forward in the village of Cochrane. We commit ourselves to thee. We commit the speakers to thee. And we commit our Father, even our Father, those who will be recording it to thee tonight. In the person of thy Son, the Lord Jesus Christ, our Savior. Amen. Amen.
Thank you very much, Pastor. Okay, and for those of you outside, you can come in. We still have a few more seats here. Just by the welcome and to now, most of the seats are taken up, which is good. But we still have a few in the front here, so I'm urging you to come forward so we can really get our meeting moving with great participation. Okay, tonight I'm here as a PAL rep to speak first and to basically give you a rundown and to give you a sort of a report card as to what I've been doing, my plans for you, and of course, that echoed into the government plans. Now, as you know, we are having a series of town hall meetings, and Cochrane, we are in Cochrane tonight. Unfortunately, it's raining, but we're moving in our meeting, and most of you have braved it out, and we're here tonight. So let's get into it right away. Now, the first one I want to tackle here tonight is the roads. I know some time ago, and it was an election promise, when right downstairs, right over there, we had a major meeting, and I said to you that you will get your road, and you will get your road. We have had some challenges, I'm not saying no at all, where we pledged a certain amount, and we had contracted the Public Works Department to really move on the road. But we had some little hiccups in it, and we had to go back to the drawing board. The Prime Minister is here, we'll speak more about it, but just in a nutshell, I'd like to say to you that as you notice, we have been constantly patching the road because in spite of the fact that we don't have the new road yet, but I want to make sure, and we have seen some signs of some progress on the road, but not what we want to see yet. And I'm telling you straight, that's not what I want to see at all. That's not what I promised to you when I spoke to you. So you'll get your road. Now, There's also a challenge in the back. You realize when Tropical Storm Erica came, and I must give a little story. I'm going to try to be fast, but I must give little stories here and there. Some around just after 1992, a long time ago as a young vet. When I came to Cochrane, I remember that quite clearly. The back road was a terrible road. And that's over 30-something years ago, just under 40 years ago. Terrible. No government saw it fit to build a road at the back there for us. But it was important for Cochrane to Springfield to have a back road. And under the Ministry of Agriculture, when I was the Minister of Agriculture, this is when I built that road for you. I sort of had to pretend it was a feeder road, and we were able to qualify it, and we have the back road here. However, it was challenged by Tropical Storm Erica, where we had major edge failures on this road. We still use it. It's dangerous. And we have completed the design and surveys on that road, which we will tackle. But the interest and the importance for us is to make sure we look at the River State to Cochrane aspect of it. But just to come back to the little story here. Mr. Saville Hector, I think he's here with us. Saville is here? Yes, Saville right here. When I was a young vet, one of my first cesarean section was carried out right in the back in Saville's yard. He had a cow that couldn't met back, couldn't give birth. And I worked with Saville there as a young vet, and we were able to carry out a surgery on the cow there, and on the cow, and we were able to get the calf out, and he was able to have a cow and a calf saved. And I must say, that's one of the first guys in Cochrane I got to know. And it's all because of, we were able to work together in a C-section, and Saville forever has been in my mind. And I must say, he has been of serious support to me as well, too. I think it dates back, way back. But coming back to the road now, and in those days, I could come to Cochrane from the front and head out through the back, but it was terrible. I could still leave Cochrane and head to the back, or the northeast of Dominica, the country my work. But we were able, under this regime, the Dominica Labour Party, as agriculture, we were able to put that back road there. That's why we have a concrete road there, which was left for over close to 40 years. No government took it on. So when I say to you tonight that the plan is, we will fix our road, we will fix it, because I have interest in Cochrane, okay? I'm going to fix it for sure. Now, there's a little surprise I'll give you sometime later today tonight in the discussion, where I'll ask the Prime Minister to do something special for me. But I won't lay it off yet. It has to do, we'll figure it out. You'll get to know. Now, there's also another aspect of our roads here, the one going to the Midland Falls. You have complained a lot that you're part of the Roseau Valley, and you always have the Midland Falls in the Loda area, but you're not hearing about the Cochrane area and the Stinking Hole, which is where the bats come. What I'd like us to do, and we're looking at the feeder roads right now as government, and I've asked the Ministry of Public Works to look at the cost of repairing that road to the top of the Midland area there, because we want to get it going so we can organize our tours, so we can have tourists coming through Cochrane, and if they want to exit through the other end, that's all right, but we want a serious amount of tourists to come through that area as well for us, okay? So in reference to roads, that's just a quick little update on the roads, and we'll move on from there. Now, housing. Housing has been a serious problem. We tackled the initial aspects of housing long ago. As a matter of fact, in the Roseau Valley, Cochrane is the only hamlet where we have actually acquired land, and government has completed the payment of land. We have in excess of 5 acres of land sitting right across from the playing field. There were 2 reasons why we acquired that land from Eva Bruni. The 2 reasons were for the extension of the playing field, and also for the housing development program. A lot of young families here, even those a little older, there's no land. They don't have land. So we will be discussing tonight and further tonight some of our plans on how best we can move with the land there, because we have the land and we don't owe anybody for the land. The land belongs to the government, and the land is for housing development, village expansion in terms of how we move out there, okay? There's some ideas the Prime Minister may want to expand more on it. I prefer to let him expand on some of the ideas and his thoughts. I'm sure you saw yesterday in Buffet State what we were doing there, and there were a number of happy families. So the plan is to get a lot of people in Cochrane very happy as well too. We have had our land for a long enough period, all right. Of course, coupled with that, we want to look at the housing assistance programs. We'd like to look at building and assisting folks in terms of their houses, home repairs. I have a list of homes here where we're looking at repairing some homes. And what we're going to do is to carry out an assessment, get one of our skilled persons here to go out there and look at the housing aspect in terms of Mr. Joe needs repairs to his home, but he might come in with a little invoice, but the invoice might be lacking. A professional might see something different, because What the Prime Minister has always said, and what we have said in housing is, we don't want you come with a little LPO, you need 10 sheets of galvanized. But you forgot to put in the rest of it. And then you have problems, and you constantly have to be coming to the government or coming to your pal rep trying to get assistance, and we're not completing the program. So we want to do this program professionally. In reference to the toilets, as you know, we have started some toilets here. We have started 5. We got some resources for another parts of the valley to move in some toilets. By deciding, Cochrane being so much of a dear to my heart, I must say I was able to transfer some of the funds or use some of the funds to start the toilets in Cochrane. We have started 5 of them, and one of those days, very soon from now, we'll get a testimony from a very, very senior lady who I didn't want to go to the great beyond. We all will go to the great beyond, we know that. Who I didn't want to go to the great beyond before she could flush a toilet, man. When you look at people in the 80s having to go outside in the rain to go into a pit latrine, man, that is terrible. This government will not allow that to happen. So we have started 5. There's an additional 5 folks that still need toilets, and there are about 7 of you who would like to do a little repair to your existing toilets. We have the names as well too. So we'll work on that. Of course, the aim here is to eradicate the pit latrine program, and we don't want anyone in Cochrane to be using a pit latrine in these modern times at all. So we'll move with that. In terms of agriculture, there's an agricultural group here. I have met with them already. I also attended one of the farmer field school programs some time ago, where I sat in a little classroom at the back there where the Ministry of Agriculture was there. I was very happy to be part of it, I must admit, because sometimes we hear agriculture being bashed here and bashed there. But I was very impressed when I saw the extension officers there with the farmers group, teaching them about diseases and how we're going to manage them, and I felt good. I saw Mr. Sabruch, he's right there with us. He was there as well too, and that's something I really enjoy and participated in. As an agriculturist, I want us to make sure we continue to push our program here. Cochrane is very strong in agriculture, very, very strong. And what I'd like to do is, under our friendship with the Moroccan government, we are now in the process. Probably today would have been the day for completing the clearing of the fertilizer, which was given to us as a gift to Dominica. I must admit, I've tried the Moroccan fertilizer. The plants really grow seriously with that kind of fertilizer. I'm not going to lie about that. So my plan here is to make sure we get an equal amount for our farmers in Cochrane, because you have a number of you here. There are different formulas. We look at your different crops, and we get the appropriate formula to suit the sort of plant growth we're looking at. So we'll benefit from that. As well as we're looking at getting some of the inputs and possibility of some of your sprayers, the things that you need to help agriculture. Because we know it's expensive. I farm, the Prime Minister farms. I think Kelvin just started planting his dashings right now. And we know the cost of agriculture in terms of inputs and labor. So we want to make sure at least we help you. Because one thing good about Dominica, one thing that's, well, not one thing, but that's just a saying. But something that's very, very good about us in Dominica, we feed ourselves. And you can go to all around the Caribbean islands, but one thing about Dominica, we eat what we grow, we feed ourselves, and we share our food. So I'm very happy for that, and I'd like us to continue that sort of approach. Because, yes, things can be a little tight sometimes for obvious reasons, but not necessarily because of lack of opportunities, But sometimes, because of what we do and how we plant, we can feed ourselves. So our children shouldn't be hungry. And let us keep healthy and eating what we're growing, okay? The small business aspect. I have also carried out a survey. Some time ago, we had the small business officers come to Cochrane, and you're able to be right here. And a number of you visited the office of the small business of the small business officer. And we have your application forms. We have compiled them together. The Prime Minister, I'm sure, will make some sort of, I shared with him some of my concerns for small business here and what I'd like to see. So I wouldn't preempt the Prime Minister on something he may want to see. A sort of agricultural type of program, reign of livestock. But we have to be importing all the meat, man. And we sometimes we get a little bit of the meat from here, but even the majority comes from outside, and it's fetching a good price. So I'd like us to more and more, our young people in particular, because we have partnered with the previous VICs before in terms of putting the necessary funds in place to expand on the rabbit rearing program, because it's a good program. We have coined it, and Cochrane has coined it in terms of the rabbit festival, and it is working for us. It is working for us. So I'd like you to look at the small business aspect of, / agriculture, agribusiness. First, to look at rearing some more rabbits rather than having to go out and buy every time or buy some of it sometimes. So that is critical for us. And while I'm at it, I've always said to the village improvement committees, we have Cruel in the Park, for example. And I mean, that's a that's a huge success story. I would like to see the VIC. Well, the rest of the island will be listening to me, but I'm going to say it. I would like to see the VIC and the people of Cochrane go down into, partner with the Lime people, the Creole Festival, the Creole in the Park people, and have a rabbit booth there. And let us sell our rabbit meat, all different types of, dishes in terms of curry, jerk, whatever you want to call it. Well, I must say I feel very nice tonight. You know why? At least I feel that it's being sold tonight. But I've been saying that for a few years, The amount of people that come at National Daytime, Cruel in the Park. Let's get Cochrane, our people here. Partner, let's go down there with Lime, set up our booths, and let's push that rabbit program there. And let's get some security guards to escort us back with the revenue in our pockets. Okay? Right. I'm serious on that one. And again, some of the other villages listening tonight, we have the Dr. Darrow have his POC program, they have a TTB program, I think Mr. Kelva, Honorable Kelvaz is. So we can have all the different booths and we can have something positive for us to raise the level of our program. Okay? Right. Now, in the Rabbit Festival as well too, we also look at the aspect of agro-processing. People come and sell their little pepper sauce, their little pickles, their little confectionaries, and all that. These are all the different ways we can look at, how we can make money and how we can take advantage of the small business opportunities that exist for us to, get the funds for us to push the program. Because our small business program, I want you to treat it seriously, treat it very seriously, where your government is partnering with you. And a lot of you, the money coming from that has to do with, you don't have security for it, but treat and use that money wisely to, help us come out from poverty, man. Let's come out from that area. Okay? Right. The sports aspect, Cochrane has been very good. One of my best goals in life when I was a very young fellow was squad right there in Cochrane. I think I was playing for Cani at that time. We won the game. I was playing on the team. However, as representing you now, as your para rep, I have no sides right now. So I'm in Cochrane and I support Cochrane. This is why I was able to get the money and buy the land for us to expand our playing field. One of the concerns that was raised with the sportsmen, they would like to see the lighting of the playing field. I've spoken to the minister, that's a good point. I've spoken to the Minister of Sports, and we're looking at the possibilities and how best we can get some lights on that field. So when the guys come from work in the evening, they can go out in their field and play a little football, because football is alive in Cochrane. I'm sure of that. I have been able to assist the young team. There's a young team coming up. I gave them some resources. I bought some uniforms for them. I gave them some resources again, and we bought some chicken and drumsticks and whatnot for like a fundraiser. And I want to continue to support them, because we have to get the young people to be involved in sports. That's critical. The young scouts, I think I have a little debt with the scouts, where they asked me to buy them some uniforms. They have outgrown because they have grown bigger. But under this program here that we are in here tonight, I will definitely get our scouts involved and see if we can get the guys attired out there in terms of making us proud, because I've been to the ceremony a few times. The scout head is here. I'm sure she's hearing me. Okay. But having said that about sports, though, I don't want to be getting requests just all of a sudden for to come to the pal rep, how we can mow the lawn or how we can clean the playing field. I've not been getting that as much like before. But I want you to take charge and take control of your playing field to make sure that we can keep our thing the grass cut and we're moving okay. Okay? Right. Sorry for going a little fast, but I want to give you the opportunity to talk more, but I want to speak to a little more on a few other things. In terms of school, we have a little issue here with school. We are transporting our students to Massac, the primary students to Massac. We have a little challenge with the bus. We know that the bus takes them to the primary school in Massac. We have some of them a little spillover, maybe about 6 of them that need to go to Goodwill. But what we want to do, I wrote the Minister of Education today, but I'd like someone here, and I've been speaking to someone who, and I wrote the Minister of Education in reference to the duty-free access for transporting students to school, because we have a number of secondary students here. We have 32 students going to high school here. And we have another 6 going to the college. That's not primary, so there's a need for that. And because we have to come into Cochrane, I know the bus system can be difficult. So that's something that I'm certainly hard, I really want to help, because I don't want our students here. Education is so critical. I don't want a child or a young person to get up and be stuck in Cochrane. You cannot get to school, you can't get to the secondary school or college, which is really a much higher level but important, and you have to start thinking of, I'll go and take a line, I can't go to school today. This government is not about that. We are totally involved in education, and this is a problem that we will solve for you. So I've taken note of it, and I've delivered a letter to the Minister of Education, and the aim here is to try to partner with a local person here, however we can, in getting a bus that belongs to him, and we can contract that bus to work for us. And when I say work for us, for government, because it's critical, there's business for it. The health aspect, I discussed with the Prime Minister today after discussions with our VIC here, where I was told that, well, I know this is the little health section here. We're lacking the community center. We have to look at fixing up the community center at the back there, but you all know for now why it can't be fixed, because we're housing families here who needed some housing assistance. But the plan here is to repair this whole building here. It's a lovely building. It is very strong. It's not being used as a school anymore, but turn it into a sort of a resource center and compartmentalize it much better, such that we can use it much better. The reason for that is, had it not been for this building here tonight, based on our plans, we'd have been in trouble, because the tents, they crashed this morning. All of them crashed, too much rain. So this is something we want to do. However, to get to the health center, especially our senior folks here, they have been difficulties sometimes climbing up the step here. A suggestion came up, why don't we access it through the back there, where it's closer to the little hill there, and we can build a nice little walkway that is, sort of handicap friendly, where they can come in nicely into the health center and they can get their help, because we have a nurse here, and of course we want to continue to get our doctors and our nurse to be here, working on our people, really, keeping them healthy and whatnot. So that's something I'm going to look at, so we can repair it to fix our program, okay? Now, as you know, we have our NEP program running here. Everybody knows what's going on. He's helping us with our road. As a matter of fact, the reason why we were able to come up here tonight and not really feel that what is wrong with this road. We know the road is terrible, but at least the holes, it looked like a road that was, you pass a machine gun on. But at least we can still move all right without much headache. Okay? Because whenever the road is bad, trust me, I'm getting it from all of you. And I know. So I've said to the national employment people, the folks from Cochrane working in the NEP program, make sure I'll get you the tariff, I'll get you the sand, I'll get you the aggregate, but just constantly keep patching that road until we can get to our project completely, where we can build our road. Because the aim, when we promise you that road, we are serious about it, and we're going to move and continue moving it. Under this small business unit, the VIC and some of you here, I'd like you to start looking at other opportunities whereby you can partner with the Ministry of Employment, because there's a special section area there where we can look at, business development type programs. And together with the small business, there's also an enterprise development type of program. I want you all to take advantage of it. Take advantage of it, because these are the programs that have in place for you. No longer can we all depend on just working for somebody. We have to work for ourselves. Yes, I happen to be a minister here right now, but I work for myself. I do my little vet work. I farm. So it's more than one thing to make us leave right now. We cannot leave school or just expect, well, we have to get a job from somebody. That's not going to work. That has changed in the world completely. It is changed. And we have to understand the world is changing. The world is not going to stay one way, Long ago, to get a first degree was a big thing. So you went for a first degree. No, a first degree is not just a first degree, You have to go in a particular area. And those of us who have our kids going to school, I want to say to you, start encouraging your children to look at global trends and what the world needs and what Dominica needs, and more the technical administration, business management, to work in what? To work in what? I mean, management is okay, but so start letting your children know the importance of education, but you have to narrow it down to a special area, specific areas that the government of Dominica will require the services. For example, Dominica will always be raining. There'll always be rivers, landslides, flooding. We need engineers. We need surveyors. That's what we need in the country. That's what we need. We need We need folks who to look at construction engineering, things like that, so we can do it properly rather than having to outsource our jobs. So I'm just saying something out here because it's so important that we understand the drive that this government, what we're embarking on. As you heard, the Prime Minister said that his biggest issue right now is he wants to spend more in the area. He wants to spend in Cochrane. He wants to spend in Dominica. But before of course, we know that we have the Yes We Care program as well too in Cochrane itself. The NEP is helping us with that, as well as the Yes We Care ministry as well too. They're helping us. But we have tweaked ours to have some of our NEP people working with our folks in Cochrane, especially elderly. And I must say it's working well for them and it's really giving them a good little program. But just before I close up here on the first part of the presentation, I just want to share a little bit with you, quick on the CBI program, just quick and brief. You know that they talk about the opposition type people. And this is a meeting, as I've said, this is a meeting to sensitize the people. And I want you to listen to me carefully. Dominica has us coming up here a while, and I listened to the guys from the Climate Change Center, and he was saying to you, there's no, you can't run away from it. You will always be in the path of the hurricanes. And we know that from our forefathers and those gone before us. And when they hit us, the hurricanes or the storms, they hit in hard. Look at what happened in Erica. 1.4, close to $1.5 billion worth in a few hours for a little country like Dominica. Now let me tell you, brothers and sisters, friends, we have to get that money from somewhere. But we cannot get the money all one time. And the friends of before, I must say to our special friends like the Chinese government, is our special friends, the Venezuelan government, the Cuban government, these are our traditional friends, European Union, but they have their challenges too. They have their challenges too. So when we are hit as a little country from programs like that, we will need money to develop the country. We have something that's working for us. And the reason why it's working for us, the Freedom Party, they started it. It worked for them. They tried to build a River Hotel. Yeah, it fell through. Okay, this child tried her thing. Then you had the UWP said that they're not going to do it. And when they were in opposition, but when they got into government and they realized, well, the challenges that Dominica is faced with and what they have to do, they run into it fast. And you know, they call it the re-engineered economic citizen program. They claim it that they re-engineered the thing. And they started to run it. Well, they didn't last too long because it was difficult for Dominicans to keep them for too long, because it was it wasn't the best for us. No, I'm serious about it. Now, here comes the Dominica Labour Party. And of course, we had our challenges during the Labour Party. Of course, we lost 2 of our leaders, you know that. Then we had our Prime Minister come out of the whole program. And this is what saved our life and the country. And we started looking at, opportunities, what we can do. And we were able to master the CBI program such that the CBI program of Dominica has 75% of the market in the Caribbean. Dominica is still the preferred option, 75%. Now you have some folks who the guys were the friends of the guys, the fellows who were there for 4 point something years. They would like exclusivity. They want the thing for themselves only, that they are the ones to be marketing the CBI program. And we said, no, we want everybody to benefit from it, all our agents in Dominica and all our people, and we can spread the bread. They're mad with us, and they have waged a war on this country, a terrible war, based on fabrication and lies. I mean, look at it. They said the other day the Prime Minister couldn't travel to the USA. At the same time, they're saying that I can tell you that 2 of us were in New York, attended to some business for Dominica. So I started realizing, but hold on, man, this fellow's not serious at all. Because here it is that's going on back home. And we are hearing that's going on back home, and we are in the US. So I realized these fellows are out to just blacklist the country, say all kind of things about the country, all aimed at trying to put a government down, but they couldn't care less if they kill the country. And that is dangerous. The CBI program is well mastered. We are screening our program. We are developing and making some revenue from it. It's going towards our hotel development. It's going towards the same programs we're talking about here right now in terms of your roads and all sorts of infrastructure type developments. This is where we're getting the money from. And I want to urge you here tonight to take some time and really understand that program and understand the propaganda that's been pushed out there. I'm not partisan on that program. I'm telling you straight how it is. These fellas are playing the fool, and you have to make sure you understand it, understand that everything they say out there is purely based on pure lies. I'm not going to come here and tell you if the UWP were to say something that was factual. I wouldn't come here and tell you they're lying. But I can tell you tonight, they are lying. And understand that. So, and I'll say it anywhere. So I'd like you to programs, your small business programs, anything you want to think of, that's what we're. No, it is not the only way we make our money as government. We still continue to look at our money for our roads, our schools, and all these different things, you know. But when Erica struck us, we needed 1.3, 1 point, close to 1.4, almost 5, 1.5. Dear people, I know you're quite attentive, but we have other speakers here tonight. So this is just the first part of the report card, and we'll take your questions when we get into the question and answer session. But I'd like to say, it's very nice being here. It's been a little while. We have not had a lovely meeting like that, and we will see you again, definitely, in terms of town hall meetings. But I'd like now to introduce the next speaker tonight, who is the Honorable Kelva Darrow, who has come all the way from the St. Joseph constituency to be with us here tonight. A lot of our folks are traveling right now, so a lot of guys are, they're traveling and doing government business. But Mr. Darrow, Honorable Darrow decided he's going to be here tonight. So let's welcome him with a positive round of applause.
Thank you very much, Dr. Mark, my very good friend. Let me also recognize the presence of our Prime Minister, Honorable Roosevelt Skerritt, and of course to you, the beautiful and wonderful people of Cochrane. It's nice to be here this evening. I can see so many smiling faces here this evening. It's nice to see so many of you here. In spite of the rain, it's to see that you've turned out to really listen and to share with us, because really and truly, this is your meeting. We are here to listen to you and to learn from you, and to see how best we can continue to work on your behalf, because we are here to represent you. So I'm very happy to be here this evening. Firstly, let me begin by saying that your government is focused, your government continues to remain diligent, and your government continues to work on your behalf. Because this is what you have elected us to do for you. We are representing you, the people. And you heard your power made mention of so many programs and projects that he has ongoing, particularly for this area in Cochrane. And I can tell you, all of this has come about because we are a government, this Labour Party government is a government that listens to the people. And anytime you represent people, you have to understand that you must listen to the people. Because at the end of the day, it is the people who can decide and who knows best what is it that can happen in their lives, what is it that can do on their behalf to improve their lives and to improve the lives of their children. And that is what this Labour Party government is about. But we also have to understand, my dear friends, that we are living in a global village. And what happens in one part of the world also affects us here in Dominica. And I say that because a lot of times we are aware that there are financial situations happening in certain parts of the world. The first world countries, the United States of America, the European Union. And some of these countries, they provide us with funding. And you can well understand that is the challenge that some of these countries face. It will impact on us here in Dominica. But what we have done as a government, under the leadership of our Prime Minister Roosevelt Skerritt, is to ensure that we have continued to manage the economy of this country prudently and responsibly. And that is important, because it is just like a family, a father, a mother, and children in a home, and you have a budget to work with. And though you may plan, though you may decide that you have this to buy, you have this to purchase, you may want to get a new television for the home and so forth, but then out of the blue, something happens unexpectedly. And the monies that you had set aside to buy, you now have to probably use this money because probably your child got sick. So you have to now prioritize. And that is what this government has done well. We've been able to use the limited resources that we've had and put it in priority to ensure that at the end of the day, Dominica benefits and Dominica is rewarded tremendously. And I want to speak to 3 specific areas this evening. And the first one is education. And I say this without no apology, that this Labour Party government has been the party that has invested tremendously in the area of education than any other government or any governments combined before. And the reason why we have invested so heavily in education is simply because we understand that we have to educate our people to ensure that this country continues to develop. We have to continue to make the investments in our young people so that when they go out there and they get the requisite skills and the knowledge, they can come back into this country and make a meaningful contribution towards the development of Dominica. That is what we want to see. And over the years, from the early childhood, the preschool, all the way to the university, tertiary level institution, we have continued to make monies available to ensure that at the end of the day, our children, our young people, can have a better education. And I see many grown folks here this evening. And you can testify that the experiences that you've had while growing up, you want to ensure that your children have a better life. And that is what this Labour Party represents. We want to ensure that we can make a difference in the lives of families. And we've made a commitment that every household in this country will have a university graduate. And we are working towards this, and we are well on our way to achieving this. Every single household in this country will have a university graduate. We've seen the investments we've made at the Dominica State College. And Prime Minister Skerritt is here. And he took the bold decision, even then when he was Minister of Education, to ensure that we could have a tertiary level institution here in this country where our young people can have the opportunity to have access. Because before, only a limited number of our students could have access to the college. But now, my dear friends, the infrastructure, we've seen the funding that have been made available and investments that we've made to ensure that in 2017, every single student who leaves Second State College, there is a space for that student. This is an investment that the Labour Party government has made. But we have not stopped here. We have gone further, and we have ensured that we've assisted our students with the tuition fees at this college. We provided them with transportation allowance, and you heard your parents speak of that. And I'm sure that he will ensure that the students here who attend this state college will receive a transportation allowance, so that they have absolutely no excuse at all why they should not be at school. No excuse at all why they should not go to school and learn. This is an investment that we are making in our people, my dear friends. So we've done our part as the government. But our young people have their responsibility as well. The government cannot come wake you up in your bed at 8 o'clock and tell you, get ready to go to school. Dr. Mack cannot do that for you. He's provided you with the opportunity, but you have a responsibility as a young person to ensure that you get up in the morning and you make yourselves available for school. And we'll continue to invest in our young people and in their education, my dear friends. I also want to speak to the area of small business and enterprise development. And we've heard the talk about the monies that we spent and invested in small business and development. And it is critical. Because back in 2008, this Labour Party government realized that there are a number of groups, individuals across this country who cannot go to a financial institution, a bank, a credit union, and get a loan to start or to enhance on a business idea that they have. And this is how the small business unit came about. Again, your government listening to you. And since the establishment of the small business unit back in 2008, we've invested over $18 million across the country towards the expansion of small businesses and the creation of small businesses here in the country. Over $18 million. A significant sum. And what has happened, my dear friends, is that individuals, Dominicans, have been able to create jobs for themselves, as well as create opportunities whereby they can employ other people within the small businesses that they've established. And that is a plus. Because there is absolutely no way that the government can employ everybody. And again, through the intuition and through the vision of the Prime Minister, we were able to establish the small business unit and make this investment in our people. In our people. So that the hairdressers who are in Cochrane, the shops that you have here in this community, they are able to benefit, and across the country, small businesses are able to benefit. And I'm sure your Member of Parliament has made representation on your behalf here in Cochrane to ensure that the small businesses here will continue to benefit and will benefit from the funds that we will make available through the small business unit. But in addition to that, my dear friends, we have also gone ahead as a government and we've made available, and it has been ratified this week by the cabinet, $1 million for the musicians of this country and those interested in music and so forth. $1 million. And this was a promise that the Prime Minister made, and this is the promise that we kept. And I can tell you that for the first $10,000, so if you are to go to that facility, and I believe the aid bank should get the check next week, the Minister of Small Business Enterprise will present the checks to the aid bank, next week. That for the first, if you go into that facility, whether you're a DJ, whether you're into mixing of music, whether you're a band, whether you're a young band in the community, and you want to benefit from this facility, for the first $10,000, you will need absolutely no collateral. So you won't have to bring a land paper, or you won't have to show any other asset. And this is all in an effort to ensure that our young people, our musicians, those who have been in music for a number of years, they are able to upgrade their skills and move to another level. And again, this program came about by listening to our people. Because this government doesn't just talk. We walk the walk. That is what it's about. Because anybody can come and talk and say what they want. But when it comes to governing a country, when it comes to ensuring that we take the lives of our citizens seriously, this Labour Party government has never faltered. We have ensured that we realize the importance of making a difference in the lives of every citizen of this country. And we will continue to invest heavily in our citizens, because at the end of the day, we have to take Dominica to a level that it has never been before. That is what development is about. We're in 2017, my dear friends. And I want to make a footnote here, because when we launched the washroom program, we were ridiculed for it. But can you believe in 2017 you still have families using a pit toilet? In 2017? But my dear friends, we are here for you. And we will continue to work on your behalf. Additionally, we've also made available to the Dominica Youth Business Trust through the Youth Development Division in the Ministry of Youth and Sports an additional $1 million. This is earmarked for our young people who have enterprising ideas, where they go through a mentorship program with the Youth Development Division over a period of time. And we've made these funds available to these young people. And again, it was the Labour Party government which established this program. And the reason why I said this, my dear friends, is because all of these programs that I've mentioned, you heard your parent mention, it's the Labour Party government that put these programs in place. So that means, my dear friends, if tomorrow or in the next 5 or 10 years, another government comes into power, these programs can all go away. You have to understand that. These programs can all go away. Because these programs were implemented by the Dominica Labour Party under the leadership of our Prime Minister, Roosevelt Skerrit. So we've made this additional $1 million available to the Dominica Youth Business Trust, targeting our young people who have enterprising business ideas, again to ensure they can empower themselves. They can transform their lives and the lives of towards the development of Dominica. That is what Labour is doing, my dear friends. I also want to touch briefly on the area of technology, as I am the Minister of Information Technology. It falls under my portfolio. And we now have established at the Dominica State College a Center of Excellence in Information and Communication Technology. We all know that we are living in the technology age. Our young people, they are ICT savvy. You see them on their cell phones, you see them on their tablets, you see them on their laptops, you see them all over the place on their smart devices. But what this Center of Excellence will do for young people, it will allow them to aspire, and it will also allow them to develop the requisite skills that they need in the area of ICT and technology, so that at the end of the day, they can be trained and qualified and make themselves more employable and more marketable. And this is another investment that we are making in the lives of our young people. And I want to encourage our young people to use the technology in a positive way. Use it to uplift yourselves and use it to do research in a proper way. Do not use the technology to bring down others. Do not use it to spread rumors, but use it to uplift yourselves and to uplift your fellow students. This is what you have to use technology for. And the reason I'm making this point is because too many times we've seen examples here in Dominica where Dominicans who are supposed to have a love for country and to be patriotic, they have used technology to bring down Dominica and to bring this country down. What a shame. Because, my dear friends, we have to understand that once we post something, whether it's on Facebook or on a website or on Instagram or any of the social medias, once you post it and it goes viral, it's out there. And the whole world sees it. The whole world hears about it. And I'm sure some of you here might be wondering, but how come is it that sometimes something happens in Dominica and somebody overseas calls you and tell you about it before you even know about it? That's what happens. So you can well understand and imagine the impact that technology has. And that is why I want to exhort our young people and exhort all of us. When we use the technology, let us use it to uplift our country and to spread positive vibes about Dominica. You have the Rabbit Festival here in Cochrane. A beautiful festival. A wonderful festival. I'm sure there are people around the world who do not know how to cook the rabbit in different dishes. Use the technology and showcase that on the internet. Your curried rabbit, your stewed rabbit, and different ways that you can prepare your rabbit during the festival. These are the things that you have to use the technology for, to enhance and promote Dominica and yourselves. And I believe, we will continue to do that, my dear friends. And two last points before I close. 10 minutes. One is that the government has embarked on a national community road rehabilitation program. And the Prime Minister has made available in excess of $11 million in the first phase across the country to ensure that every single community road across this country will be totally and fully rehabilitated. Every single community road. And in the first phase, over $11 million have been made available. So around the country, village roads are being improved on and worked on. And that is why I understand there has been a shortage of cement in the country. A lot of work is happening, my dear friends. A lot of work is happening. So I understand contractors now, a month in advance, have to buy cement and have cement there. Because if they wait too long to go for cement, there's no cement. A lot of work is happening, my dear friends. And that is very important. So we've embarked on this program, and this program will continue to ensure at the end of the day, every single village road in every community across the country will be totally rehabilitated. And another major project that this government is going to undertake, and again it came because we've listened to our people. And we are going to make this contribution because we understand the importance of sports in the lives of our young people. They said we could never have completed the Windsor Park Stadium. But here it is, in the middle of Roseau. And we have been getting international cricket matches here in Dominica. Something that never happened in the past. Lest we forget. Lest we forget. It was under this Labour Party government that we were able to bring West Indies down here. Australia, Pakistan. And next month in May, we'll be seeing another international test match here in Dominica. So my dear friends, we are going to invest in a national indoor sporting facility. And this is a very important project for the country. A very important project. Where all of our young people who participate in volleyball, who play netball, who play basketball, all of these sporting disciplines, they will have a state-of-the-art facility that they will be able to call their own. We will be able to get regional and international tournaments here in Dominica because of this facility. And this Labour Party government is going to deliver to you on this promise, my dear friends. And as a young person and sports enthusiast myself, I am pushing hard for this project because I listen to the young people when I move around. And they have told me that when is it coming? It is coming. When he makes a promise, it may take some time, but we keep that promise, my dear friend. And so it is coming. And let me just take this opportunity to invite all of us, all of you hearing my voice, and those of you here in the building, to the grand opening of our new West Bridge on Monday. On Monday, my dear friends. On Monday, we'll be opening our new bridge in Roseau, and all of Dominica is invited because the Labour Party once again has delivered to the people of this country. And I want to commend your parliamentary representative, Dr. Mack, because Dr. Mack continues to speak on your behalf. He continues to represent you at cabinet, and he continues to let us know that the people of Cochrane, they will have to continue to meet their needs, and that is why you heard him speak of your roads. He continues to represent you to the best of his ability, my dear friends. And I know for a fact that he will continue to deliver to you the people of Cochrane. So, my dear friends, I'm happy to be here this evening. You're a wonderful audience, and I want to say God continue to bless each and every one of you, and let us continue to work together for the development and advancement of our country. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. My colleague here got the place on fire, and you're responding right to the Honorable Kelvedaro. Very nice. But equally as well too, we're just about to introduce our Honorable Prime Minister. But before we do so, I want to make it, just make a few points in reference to, he's coming here. He has always been to Cochrane, as you know. Always been to Cochrane. Has always been to your rabbit festivals and whatnot and whatnot. So tonight, I wasn't sure if he could make it because he has been tired. Yesterday, I was with him in the Kalinago territory. And we slept there, and was able to see just under 200 people. That's a lot. And at one time I left him in the room there. I was downstairs mixing the people. But at one time I had to go upstairs to find out what was happening. And the Prime Minister was just batting. In terms of meeting the needs of the people. So ladies and gentlemen, he's here with us tonight. And from yesterday, the Kalinga territory, he ran to Baffin State to make people happy in Baffin State and Emsall. So he has come here tonight, even if it's raining. I was a little careful. I was hoping he would come. I didn't want to announce a lot. But he's been here, and he has always been true to Cochrane. So with these few words, I'd like you to make him feel very welcome here tonight. Very welcome. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you very much, my friends. Let me first of all recognize in our presence Honorable Dr. McIntyre, who is our Parl Rep in Cochrane. My friend and colleague, Honorable Kelva Daru, the Member of Parliament for St. Joseph and the Minister for Information Technology. Let me also thank our dear friend who always prays for us, my dear pastor friend. Always a pleasure seeing you and your wife. And to all of you, the wonderful people of Cochrane, it's my pleasure to be here. And I am very pleased with the turnout, notwithstanding the heavy rains. But you are here, first of all, to hear from your Parl Rep and from ourselves, but I'm here to hear from you, so we can continue to work together to improve your standard of living and your way of life. As you know, we started in February, the first week of February, a series of town hall meetings. And as the leader of the party, I have mandated every Parl Rep and caretaker of the Labour Party to hold these town hall meetings and interact and report to their constituents. Because it's important for us to let our people know what we're doing for them and with them, and let them be part of the process of improving their lives, the community, and the country. So we will certainly be back in Cochrane before the end of the year, once Dr. Mark will have made his rounds in every part of the community. He has been to Trafalgar, to Loda, he's here in Cochrane, he will go to Mount Prosper, and then he'll come back to make another round in the constituency. I have said to them, I will come to these town hall meetings when I'm available. So I am available tonight, and I don't live very far from here, though my main address is in Vickers, but I do reside temporarily outside of Vickers. But I love the village of Cochrane. Very hardworking people, very determined people, and very sincere and hospitable people. I maybe could boast that I am the only Prime Minister who has been to every cranny in Cochrane. I have walked every cranny in Cochrane and been here several times, though there are times I have missed the Rabbit Fest. Most times when you have it, it is a time when you have meetings regionally, and I attend those meetings. I have always said, and Dr. Mack and I have spoken about this, and when I had the occasion to speak to the Rabbit Fest, both Dr. Mack and myself, we've always said to the committee, and of course the wider community of Cochrane, that the Rabbit Fest must be an opportunity for us to be self-sufficient in the supply of our meat. Because I remember one year we had to give you maybe about $40,000 or so to buy rabbit meat from out of Cochrane. And I'm saying, why don't we use this money and to have a model rabbit farm of the Caribbean here in Cochrane? I am making this offer to you, the residents of Cochrane, again. And I'm saying to you that the government will provide the financing for that farm over a one-year period until you're able to sell your meat and be self-sufficient. So we're prepared to pay to build the infrastructure. We will provide you for the Ministry of Agriculture with some rabbits to start off with. And rabbits, they rear very quick, you know. Every month, you know. Before they have a litter, they're back on the roll again. So very quickly can be loaded with rabbits here in Cochrane. So we pray to provide some of the rabbits to you from the Ministry of Agriculture, and also provide the village with funds to buy the feed for a limited period of time. So the offer is on the table. I urge the committee here and the residents, let us work together. This is about, you can't, if you're going to be promoting the Rabbit Fest, it makes no sense you take your money from Cochrane and you bring it other parts of Dominica. The idea of the Rabbit Fest is to cause the rest of Dominica and the Caribbean to come to Cochrane, spend their money, and leave it here in our pockets, here in Cochrane. So, let us start it. Let us start it. It's an opportunity to create employment for some and to create some economic activity for the wider community. So we're putting this on the table. We can work with you. We can bring the Ministry of Agriculture here, the small business people, to work with you in putting the proposal together. I would come, along with Dr. Mark, we will come here and be part of the consultation towards the preparation of this document to start the process of having our own farm here. We have some land there with the government. If we need to give them a few square feet of land, we're prepared to do that, to have you run this model farm here in Cochrane. Because we're making a commitment here tonight, for example, of $30,000 to go towards the Rabbit Fest of this year. So we'll make a contribution of $30,000 to the committee to underwrite the cost associated with hosting the Rabbit Fest in Cochrane this year. But when I look at the budget, which I have here, we have here, I see you have a line item, $10,000 for rabbit meat. And that $10,000, most of which are going to leave Cochrane. Whereas we should be buying rabbit meat, 100 pounds from you, 50 pounds from this store. This lady has 50 pounds and we can buy it, and everybody get a $300, $400, $500, $1,000, and they keep that $10,000 here. Do you know what $10,000 could do to many families here in Cochrane during the Rabbit Fest? So I am hearing amen and so on, hallelujah. You know, we agree in this time. So the offer is on the table. I also know that you have had a meeting here with the small business ministry organized by your PAL rep, and he has presented to me with the result of that meeting, the number of you who would like to augment your existing small business, and I've seen some of you have some ideas that you would like to implement insofar as small business is concerned. And based on what he has submitted to me on his request, we're committing $200,000 to Cochrane for small business assistance. And as my friend Honorable Kelvadaro indicated, we started a small business development unit in 2008 because the government recognized that it is an important medium for which you can create employment. And we don't have to start big. We have to start small. Be committed to it. Manage a small business very well. And let it grow. Let it grow for you. And it's a wonderful way of creating employment. So we started with the unit in Roseau. But what we've realized is that there are many Dominicans who would come to Roseau so often to follow up on their application. And the application has been at the small business unit for years. You know, I've met people who told me, look, since 2009, Prime Minister, I have an application here. I haven't gotten no money. So what we have been doing in the last few months, because we have some resources, is that we have been decentralizing the outreach of the NEP by providing village councils and local groups funds so that they can reach as many people as possible in those villages. And I can tell you that program is working fantastically for the people of the country. And we also provide training to them, you know, training. So the small business, yes, they've been there to talk to you about the program, fill your application forms, but they're going to come back for a 3-day session to tell you how to manage your business, give you some tips on business management, give you some tips on money management, because that is the problem we have. When you have a small business, you have to pay yourself. Do not believe that everything you make is your profit, is yours, your salary. You have to manage your business properly so that you can see a better way of life. So we're making a commitment of $200,000. With regards to your main road, and as you know, we spent in recent time a contract with Public Works some $500,000. The truth is, I would have expected a better quality of work. Because $500,000 is not little money. And we have to take pride in our country. If we're a contractor, we're doing it for ourselves as a people. And we must use the country's money properly. Do not just dump concrete and believe that these people don't live in this community. Personally, they should have done a better job. We should have been seeing more of the $500,000 improving the roads. And then people make money for money. They make noise for money. But you get money, do it properly, my brother. Do it properly. And then people vex when I come and talk like this in the country. Because the responsibility is mine to go and fetch the money. And then when the roads are bad or something isn't happening in the country, they blame me. Many even blame me when rain falls in Dominica. Too much sun, but it's carried by too much sun, I give you the assurances that we are committed to improving that road. And I'm making a commitment tonight, additional commitment, of another $1 million to go towards this main road to Cochrane. And we should start immediately, the money is available, let us start immediately. Because what I would like to see is that when you get to the flat coming towards do it properly. So rest assured of our commitment, and in the new budget, I will also make an additional amount available in the budget for the continuation of this very important road to Cochrane. Housing repairs, and Dr. Mack, I have the list of, Dr. Mack has presented me the list of people there. I have every name in Cochrane who needs some housing assistance. And what we're doing now is to do a proper assessment, as the power rep indicated. Because I do not like the idea of somebody coming to the government to say, look, my roof is leaking and so forth, and you give them half a roof. If the person has a roof to be replaced and you promise the person to replace the roof, then replace the roof. Do not give a person a half a roof and then, I don't like that. So we will come and do a proper assessment, and to ensure that what we promise, that's what we shall deliver to you. But again, the contractors who will be engaging must do the work properly. I find this country, we have some contractors, I have a problem with them. You give them a contract sometimes and it's a new toilet, but they're working at some person's home and they replace the toilet and they take it and give it to the old lady. And they take the money for the new toilet and they go home with it. Maybe we have to speak about these things. We're here as family and friends, I'm not here as Prime Minister, I'm here as a Dominican, and I am free to speak. So we have to do things properly. So those of you who will be contracted to do this stuff for Granny and Grandpa here, do it properly so that Granny can be happy about what the government is doing for them. So once the assessment is completed, we have started, but it's not completed, we will commit the full amount required to do a proper job for those families who really need the housing assistance. I also have a list presented to me by Dr. Mack, your power rep, of those of you who will need homes, actual homes, those of you who have children, those of you who have no land, no house, those of you who've been renting for many years. And the list has about 25 people on it. I cannot promise 25 tonight, right away, but I will promise the first 15 to be built in Cochrane for the first 15 families. And once we complete that, I will make the additional amount of 10 available to build the homes for the 25 families. I know there will be a process of determining who will be the first 15. But I want to say to Dr. Mack and to you publicly that I want consideration to be given to 3 people in particular. We have Carlton Smith there, who is a disabled man. We need to help him. We need to help him. I know my friend Madeleine Bonny, who had a hip replacement and so forth, and she's there, and who is now living out of Cochrane because of her own domestic challenges. And also Lizzie and Hector, I saw earlier tonight. So I'm just asking that special consideration be given to these 3 people. But of course, we'll build 25 homes for all of you here who have indicated your desire to have a home. And a commitment of 15 made available. We should start the process, identify the contractors, get the Ministry of Housing involved, and let us start building these homes for people. And let us see how we can get them into the homes before Christmas. The 15 people before Christmas and so forth. Okay. And of course, the additional washrooms, we should complete this and have Cochrane now on the list of communities with no pit toilets. So the additional number required, let us go ahead with this immediately. Dr. Mack has also given me the list of 32 students who are currently attending secondary school from Cochrane. And you have a challenge of transportation. The problem we've had here, why we have not been able to introduce the school transportation program for the secondary school students, is our inability to get a bus to transport the students. As you know, we've been providing the transportation to the primary school students. But we have been introduced to someone here, I believe, who has expressed an interest in providing that service. He has indicated that he may want a duty-free on the bus, and whether we could give him some assistance for the small business to help him. I am saying that we will provide you with that assistance to get you to buy the bus. And we will start transporting the students at the cost of the government from September of 2017. But I want to follow through on the points which Dr. Mark Parlep and my friend Honorable Kelvadaru indicated about education. Education is important. And many of you never had the opportunity, not because you were not bright, but because there were not the opportunities available. And therefore our children today must not take these things for granted. You have access to education, and there are richer countries than us with all kinds of natural resources, gold, diamonds, oil, and a large proportion of the population do not have access to schools. And we here, a so-called third world country, a developing country, can boast of universal access to primary education, can boast of universal access to secondary education, and can boast that we have set the foundation and we have put in the investments in Dominica for there to be 100% access to the state college. And I will tell you how the state college came about, I keep telling people, all of the policies you see the government implementing, all of this come about based on our interaction with people. Listen to people's struggles and finding solutions with the help of God to these people's challenges. Because politics is about people, representing people is about people. When you are a PAL rep, you're a member of parliament, it must be about people, nothing else. And if your business isn't about people, then you're in the wrong business, my brother and sister. And you have to be tolerant. You have to be respectful. You have to be patient. Dr. Mack told you of my office day in the Carnago territory. There's no prime minister who has ever had any office day anywhere in Dominica, including the office in the financial center or the government building. I was a strong supporter of the Freedom Party in the days. But the only time I would have met Miss Charles is when she come to Vegas and she would come to my grandmother's home. But otherwise, many of us couldn't go to Roseland and say, I didn't see Miss Charles. Or Edison James. Not there. There's no way you could have seen Mr. James as Prime Minister of his office. You know, but we have to allow the government to be accessible by the people. And that's what we're doing. That's what we're doing. So education is important. So the State College came about because I was a lecturer at the State College between 1995, from 1995 to 1997, to 1999. And I was assigned the responsibility by the principal to register students who were entering the college. And it was like a first come, first served basis. Because the college knew, before the CXC results came out, the maximum number of students they would accept at the college. And I saw young, aspiring men and women of our country, young boys and young girls, not having access to the college, not because they did not meet the requirements to enter the college, but because the system said we were accepting a certain number of students, and that was it. And in some cases, it affected me in a sense, because how could we turn these people back? And every year I had the opportunity, which the principal told me to register. Because I felt that it was against my conscience to send these children from poor farmers who had to work hard to send their children to school. And you telling me that this child has gotten the CXs to enter the college, and we're saying that the child should not enter college because of space? And as fate would have it, I happened to have become the Minister for Education a few years after. And I commissioned a study of this college system in Dominica. And we found out that only 7% of all secondary school graduates had access to the college. 7%. In 1999, in 2000. And I went to the cabinet and the Prime Minister said, look, we have to address this matter. And that's how the State College came about in 2002. And we have seen a dramatic increase in student population too. And any child in Dominica, irrespective of the home you come from, irrespective of the community you come from, there's a space waiting for you at the State College as long as you meet the basic entry requirements to get into the college. To build the facility there, it cost us over. So when people talking about what is the government doing for young people, what is the best investment you can put into a young person than an education? And we're not only giving them access to education, we're also assisting them with the means of taking advantage of that opportunity. We pay in the bus fare for about 90% of the students attending secondary schools in Dominica today. And paying tuition for them at the State College. Notwithstanding the fact that the college's expenses are paid for by the government already. Government, the importance of investing in our children, investing in their future. So I am telling young people, take advantage of it. Take advantage of the opportunity. Your parents are working too hard to send you to school to form the fool. That when you leave Cochrane and you say you're going to the State College, you must go to the state college. And when you get to the state college, you must not sit under the tree or by the cafeteria. You must be in class and study a book and make your mother proud. Because many of you come from single mother households. Some of them struggling to send you to school or making the sacrifice to give you a proper future. So education is important, my dear brothers and sisters. And we do not want any child to stay out of school because they cannot afford to buy a pair of shoes or books. We need to know these students. And it's our responsibility as villagers to see if any child is on the streets who ought to be in school. So it's also your responsibility, not only that of the government. The new national hospital is under construction. People said, oh, Skerrit cannot speak Chinese, and Skerrit didn't know what the Chinese people say to him. They're going to fix the hospital, and they're going to change a few galvanized and pin the walls, and that's what they're going to get, and so forth. Well, guess what? We're going to get a brand new hospital for Dominica. And the first phase of the hospital, which will be completed in August of 2017. And our vision for healthcare in Dominica is to ensure that as far as practically possible, we provide as many medical services to our citizens here. It bothers me when our people still have to go overseas for basic medical attention. They have to do MRI. Why should we have to leave Dominica to go and do MRI in the second decade of the 21st century? And that's why in the first phase, you will have an MRI machine to provide that service to you. You see, in America, there's a lot of fight about health care, whether to repeal Obamacare and to replace it and all these things. Because health care is important no matter where you are in the world. And I was able, along with the government, we were able to implement our health care program with no problem at all. We have every citizen in Dominica 60 years and older, and every child 18 and younger in Dominica having access to free medical care. Free medical care. Now, this is a country with limited financial resources. But the point is, what we have to remember is that it is free to you who is receiving the service. But somebody has to pay for it. And you know what somebody is? The government has to pay for it. So when you go and you get your medication, you get all your x-rays done, your stool test, your urine test, and so forth. And when your doctor tells you, okay, well, you're okay, you're discharged, all you have to say to the doctor is, thank you very much, God bless you, doctor. Thank you for the service. No bill haunting you. And you know where that struck me? How were we able to implement this free medical care? We first started it in the Canalago territory. And in doing home visits in the Canalago territory, I met many senior citizens sick at home. Sick at home. And I'm asking the children, why isn't your grandfather at the hospital? Because I'm seeing the person sick. The man is sick. And they say, and they go in the room and they come out with a little, there's a pink and a yellow paper. And they show me this yellow paper and they say, look, Prime Minister, we're in the hospital, and when we go there, they'll send us back. And the following cabinet meeting, we took a decision to allow the Canalago people to have free medical care from age 60 and older and age 18 and younger. And we decided a year or so after to have it for the whole country of Dominica. And contrary to what you don't know, maybe you don't know this, a lot of our citizens who reside in countries in the region are coming to Dominica to do their surgeries and visit doctors here, free of charge. Those who live in St. Martin and Antigua and even St. Thomas, they come Because I met a lady the other day and I said, but Auntie, what you did in Dominica and so forth? She said, Prime Minister, I just had a surgery in Dominica. I said, but you in big America, USVI. And she told me, look, it is far more cheaper for her to get the same medical intervention here in Dominica as opposed to St. Croix where she resides. And sometimes we take this into granted. We take it for granted. It costs a lot, but we take it for granted sometimes. So we're making progress in the area of healthcare. And I always say to the nurses and doctors, because sometimes people criticize the health system and so forth. I always say to people, in life, no matter what your station is in life, you have to treat people the way you would like them to treat you. And today, you're the one rendering the service. Tomorrow, you shall be the one receiving that service. And I always say to teachers, you may not have a child in school now, but in 20 years, you may have a grandchild in school. Or if you don't have children, you will retire one day and be walking on a stick, and that same child who you did not treat nicely will be the one who will pick up the stick if your stick falls. So that's how I go about life. You know, I treat people the way that I would like them to treat me if one day they have to provide a service to me. Because we're all equal people. We may have a position and so forth today, but tomorrow we don't have it. You know, we might be a big person in the health system or teaching service, but tomorrow things can change, tables can turn. And we have to treat people with respect. You know, there's just a growing attitude in our country that people have to walk over people and tell people off, you know, and treat people the way we like to treat it. So we have the history care program. You never know. God forbid, I might need the history care in the next 25, 30, 40 years. And I'm hoping that there'll be a government that is compassionate like us in government. So if I need a history care program, I'll get it myself. So that's how I see life. You know, there are guys who are not even government, and the way they behave in society. Can you imagine these guys will become prime minister of our country today? I can tell you, a prime minister in small country like ours in the Caribbean has too much power. The Constitution gives the prime minister serious powers. But I always pray to God to let me use this power with care and caution and with humility. Humility. Because it makes no sense that I go and impose my authority on people. I don't. When I call any government department, and they ask me who is speaking, and so I say Scarrett. I don't tell them Prime Minister or Honorable Prime Minister. I tell them Scarrett. If you want to call me Honorable, fine. Scarrett is my name. Anybody I call, I tell them my name is Scarrett and so forth. You know, but there's people who not and will never be prime minister. The way they behave in our country, and by the way, you know, I was doing a little maths earlier tonight because you know the High Court judge ruled that the defense, you know, guys call us prostitutes and so forth, and rapists, and we sue them. And the judge ruled that the defense which he put forward was unacceptable. It made no sense. So they threw it out. So when I do a little maths tonight there, I say, well, what boy, I might get $55,000 now. When you divide that by 18, it's about $55,000. But I want that money. I want the $55,000. Because we gave the gentleman an opportunity to apologize. I mean, what is wrong with saying I'm sorry? Okay, you know, in the heat of things, I say something, you know, on the political platform. But when I go home, you know, I reflect on the life. I shouldn't have said that and so forth. What is wrong with saying sorry? How many letters sorry have? SORRY. 5. It takes you less than 0.000 seconds to say sorry, boss. A little sorry. In your family, emulate. You know, if you do something wrong, sometimes we beat our children if they refuse to say sorry. Just to say sorry, now you owe in all of this money, you know, that you could save for your children's education at university and so forth. And even leave it for your old age. What are you giving people money for no reason? But I want mine. I want mine, boss man. I'm also inviting you to the opening or the commissioning of the new West Bridge. It is our city, and we believe that the city must be an attractive place. And the vision we have for the city is for a complete enhancement of our city. You know, we can't, when you go to Roseau, you're walking on King George V Street. You have to go up, you have to go down. You know, a guy like my friend here, Carlton, difficult for you to go to Roseau. Difficult for you to go to Roseau. You know, and we have to make our city, you know, friendly to all of us with various disabilities and so forth. And so what we want to do in the city, and we're giving you an idea with the construction of this modern bridge, utilizing some of the best technology available in the world, is to give you an idea as to what we want the city to look like. And what we want the city to look like is a city that is aesthetically appealing, but also very friendly to users, pedestrians. So that when Carlton is walking, Carlton can walk from Astafan down to the bayfront on a flat sidewalk. Never have to go up, never have to go down. So he can access business in town and do his business in town. That's what we're seeking to do. Unfortunately, with the passage of Tropical Storm Erica, we have been held back by the speed at which we would like to implement this. Because Erica has certainly cost us a lot of money, you know, huge sums of money, you know, to rebuild hundreds of homes for people. You know, for the PD7 community, we're in Bellevue Shopping, we build homes. We build about 381 homes. You know, with health center, with marketplace and so forth, with basketball court, with playing field, with roads, with sewer system, with our new water system, electricity, telephone, you know, cable television. All of this infrastructure will be built on the site there in Bellevue Shopping. So you can imagine the cost of that, my dear brothers and sisters. You know, and with the utilization and all of these things, all of these homes, these facilities will be financed entirely by the CBI. Entirely by the CBI. You know, as you know, we're building hotels through the use of CBI funds. The hotel in Portsmouth, the 5-star hotel, is well advanced in construction. I was there on Saturday. And it's amazing by what speed they construct in this hotel. The formerly Jungle Bay, which is now II, down in Soufriere, has also started employing people. So you can imagine when these facilities, these hotels are completed, the jobs that will be created, the opportunities for our people. And that's what we're working towards. But what we need in this country is for us to look at Dominica first. There's just too much partisan politics in Dominica. I keep telling people, I'm a politician. I'm the leader of a party. I should be one of the people who talk about politics the most, but I do not like talking about politics. When I meet people, it's about how life will be with you, how can the government work with you. When I come to communities, it's how we can work together. There are times when you have to fight the politics, but politics should not be consuming our lives in our country every single day. You know, and it's just too much negativism. You have people in church And if they see somebody at the back of them that when comes to sign of peace, they're moving away so that they don't shake the person's hands because of politics. And if you go to church and you cannot shake everybody's hand in the church, my friend, something is wrong. You have to go to the good Lord. When sign of peace come, you have to move. We have to change that. Our children can't be growing up in a society of so much negativism. You know, and we have to be more constructive. If you're criticizing me for doing something, and it's okay, well, look, I support this project and so on, but I would do it 20 feet larger, or I'll straighten that corner, or, I'll put a street light there, something like that. But how can you criticize a hospital? Why should you criticize a bridge that's being built to improve access? Why should you criticize building a home for somebody? Why should you criticize the government giving a family, a lady who's 79 years old, who's been renting all her life, a home? Why should you stick to Grudge Carlton for getting a house? We should be praising God for that. Just too much negativism in our country. You see me? I keep telling people, I take nothing to heart and so on. And I have no ill will towards anybody. I don't want to get high blood pressure, my friend. And I do not have high blood pressure, thank God. I can drink 5 cups of coffee now and take my pressure and I'm fine. Because I don't go to bed vexed. What keeps me up at night and what gets me up early in the morning is about the families who are still struggling in our country and who need help. That's what keeps me up at night. Because there's still too many families in Dominica who are struggling, who need help. And we have to seek out these people and help them. That's what keeps me up at night. Not politics. And we can't want to mash up our country. I keep telling people that when they mash up Dominica, or if they mash up Dominica, I may be the person who will be least affected. They believe they're affecting me. They're trying to destroy me, but they're destroying the country. They're destroying the country. So they're not destroying me, they're destroying our country. When you go and you collude and you collaborate with people who do not even know Cochrane, who do not even know Vickers, who do not know Dominica, to speak ill of our country, to black eye our country, and we are supporting this, we're giving these people a medium for which to speak, and we're happy about that, and we're not condemning these people who are doing that, because you may not like Roosevelt Skerrit or the Labour Party. The Labour Party has been in existence for about 60 years. So you can't kill the Labour Party. And you can't kill me. And the way I'm feeling like... So, you're not destroying me. We're destroying the country. And the fact is, my dear brothers and sisters, when I look at all of us in this room, and when I look at all of us in Dominica, the vast majority of us will only have Dominica to call our home. And therefore we have a duty and an obligation to look at our country beyond party lines. And this is why I love the United States of America, And that's why the United States of America has become the most powerful and successful nation in the world. Less than 220 or so years ago, the U.S. was a colony of the United Kingdom. It was like Dominica, a colony. But these people were hardworking, and they believed in the country. They defended their country. They died to defend the country. And the good thing of America, you see the politics there is tight, it's difficult. But once they leave the boundaries of America, partisan politics remain in America. So you will never get any American politician going outside of their country to speak ill of the government or the country. And this is something that we have to learn from the US people. That's what makes America one of the greatest nations on earth. It is its people's commitment to themselves and to the country. Because when you read the oath which you have to take to become an American citizen, it says, among other things, and I'm paraphrasing there, that you shall take up arms in defense of your country. Meaning guns, if you have to defend the motherland. That's the extent to which the American people have the love and affinity and commitment to the country. But here in Dominica, people who are born here and who this country have made them, they are there colluding with people out of Dominica to destroy our country. Men talking foolishness about scared give a man 10,000 passports and so on. 10,000 passports. So I had 10,000 passports in my office and gave it to a man and tell him, put your shoulder on your head and breathe downstairs and so on. And, I mean, sometimes you want to laugh at this thing, but the disturbing thing is this, that there are some sensible people in our country who believe that foolishness. People who used to also think, well, should know better, should know when to decipher fact from fiction. So we have to defend our country, my dear brothers and sisters. So I'm happy to be here in Cochrane. It's raining, so I will not continue because we have to get home. But it's always a wonderful pleasure to be here and to interact with you and to say to you that this government and your parliament are committed to your welfare and your well-being. But my parting message to you in Cochrane is that this village is too small and too important to Dominica for there to be any semblance of division among ourselves. We have to work on a better future for our country. That there must be mutual respect among ourselves and between ourselves. And that we must demonstrate our true love to this community by working together to create a better future. Because all of us who have children, or we may have relatives who have children, we all want to ensure that when we leave this earth, we leave our children in a solid foundation. And the question to you tonight is, what are you prepared to do about this as an individual, as a family, and as a village? Are you prepared to make a positive contribution to that end? Or are you going to be one of those who will sit on the fence to criticize and be negative, even in the face of good things happening to yourself, to your family, to your community, and to the country? I want to be always on the side of positivism and to have the optimism, that our country will be a better place 10 years, 15 years, and 20 years from now. We have to bequeath to our citizens, to our children, a better Dominica. And we all must play our part if we're to achieve a better society. It should not only be the government. The government has its role to play, but we all have our role to play, as small as it may be, as insignificant as we think it may be. Once it is positive, it will add to the other list of positive things, and we'll have a wonderful country to call our home, Dominica. I want to thank you for listening to me, and may God bless you, may God bless your families, and may God bless Dominica. Thank you.
Thank you very, very much, Prime Minister, for really sharing some of your thoughts with us tonight and, really setting the platform for what we're about to start here right now. And what we want to do here, as we said, is to give you an opportunity, though we have said everything. Ask us, we have 3 of us here, and we would have to take it. So what we'll do, we'll take our first 5 questions, and we'll answer them, then we'll take a second 5, and I suspect, due to the weather, let's try to take care of the questions, but we still have a last little thing to do here tonight.
To have you here in Cochrane to ask something that I'm going to have you in Trafalgar more than ever. But beside that, you have said a lot of things that we need to hear. We don't want to have no discrimination about the Prime Minister, Colin Telemark, and also Mr. Darrell. We are very, very nice that you all came up here and have a very good discussion. I'm a man from the Valley. I love the Valley. I want the Valley to be positively for the Labour Party. That's how I am. Anything that has to do with the Valley, I want to be involved in it with the Prime Minister, Rupert Skerritt, and whoever else, Cory McIntyre. That's all I want for the Valley. So praise God that you are here. You are willful. You are able to help the people of the Valley, and also Cochrane. That's what I'm more involved in. Thank you.
Thank you, Marcus, for your comment. Okay. Okay, we'll come to you, Kendall. We'll go with Mr. Nelson. Mr. Nelson.
Good evening, everybody. Honorable Prime Minister, Honorable Kelvin Darrell, Honorable Colin McIntyre, welcome to Cochrane. I have quite a number of things that I would like to address tonight. However, because of the time constraints, I will probably just look at 2 of them. First of all, I will wear the hat of the Dominica Beekeepers Cooperative and the hat of the Cochrane Farmers Group. I'm not sure whether Honorable McIntyre mentioned anything about the Farmers Group in his earlier remarks because I was a bit late. However, I just want to say that quite a lot of things are happening in Cochrane because of the Farmers Group. We know that Erica came and she did a lot of havoc to our land, and so land stabilization is a very critical factor for us right now. Presently, we have a project going on. We're funded by the FAO, and in terms of land stabilization, I think one of the things that we were hoping to do is to get some of the farmers who are affected to have vetiver planted in some of the areas to continue the stopping of the land erosion. But I think we applied to the NEP, but we have not gotten any positive reply from it. We have a compost shed presently we are working on, again funded by the FAO, and we are hoping to get to the help of the NEP again to run this program, because we as farmers are very busy out there producing, so we would want some of the young people to help in that regard. We're looking at we've assisted quite a number of persons in pineapple production. We are looking at presently we have a farm school going on in Cochrane, teaching the village of Cochrane how to plant Irish potatoes and things like that. So you see, our farmers group is really geared at bringing farming to, say, a higher level in our village right now, and we would need your support. So, yeah. Secondly, if you notice on the entrance of this building, we would call this part of this school the documentation center. It was supposed to have been a documentation center, because a couple of years ago we started a program where we tried to transform our village into an eco-village. We wanted to make Cochrane the gateway to the national park, Mount Trapezoid National Park. And we spent quite a lot of money fixing the road to the Midland Falls. Cars used to go right up there. We trained a couple of our young people in the village as tour guides, and they were making good money, when tourists come to the village. But because of the condition of the road right now, it is impossible for even, well, the four-wheel drive vehicles are getting difficulties to go up in that area, So we want that road addressed. The road is not only for tourism purposes, it is also for farming area. As a matter of fact, we have an eco farm, an organic farm, root farm, operating up there, and we want to bring the school children in that area to visit the farm. However, the roads are very, very terrible in that area. Okay. The other thing I wanted to think, okay, so that is on behalf of the farmers of Cochrane. Now I want to pay my attention to the Dominica Beekeepers Cooperative. In year 2008, rightly so said by Honorable Darrow, the government is instituted that program, where that small business program. And I was one of those who benefited from it. I got a loan from the Ministry of Agriculture, and I am proud to say that I completed payment on that loan. So I did that, and I had my bees in the village. Erica came and she took away almost 80%, more than 80% of my beehives because of landslides and things like that. I've not been able to get any kind of assistance to rehabilitate my bees. So when I heard that the Prime Minister put $10 million at the aid bank, I decided, okay, well, this is my opportunity. Let me go to the aid bank to get a loan at 3% interest. Would you believe that the aid bank is telling me that apiculture is not agriculture? And as a result, I'm unable to access the 3% loan which the Prime Minister put at the aid bank. I want to find out whether this is the government's policy or if it is the aid bank trying to mess up what the government is trying to do. Because I can't understand that we all know that without bees, there's no food, right? And if the aid bank is telling me that apiculture is not agriculture, and as a result, I'm not able to get a loan, which I am willing, well, they know that I have a record. I paid the last one I had, I find that something is very fishy about it. So I would want you, the Prime Minister, to kind of address this. I'm also saying that when Erica came as the Secretary of the Dominica Beekeepers Corporation, the hives destroyed through Erica. And we sent that list to the Ministry of Agriculture. We sent it again to the Ministry of Commerce. As a matter of fact, I have the letter with me right now where we ask the PS in the Ministry of Commerce to assist the beekeepers. And up to a day like today, not one beekeeper was assisted. So I don't know if it is something against beekeeping in Dominica. This is something that we want to thank the Prime Minister for his promise of $30,000 to the Rabbit Fest. And rightly so, it hurts to know that we're having a rabbit festival and then we have to go out and seek, all the rabbit meat. But our people have to understand that, look, if assistance were given to the villagers, rabbit wire and rabbit cages were given, and most of the people who got rabbit wire and rabbit cage do not have one rabbit now. And that is, that should be looked into. I mean, if you get assistance, use the assistance wisely. The people who did not get are the ones who are still carrying the burden in the village. So I just want to say this for this, and yeah, that's it for now. Thanks.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Nerf. I suspect that's the first 5 questions, eh? Kendall.
Yeah, good evening. I'm Kendall Richards here. I want to say good evening to the head table. My presence here this evening is mainly about the Cochrane roads, because we have a problem with roads in Cochrane. I have heard the Prime Minister speak about $500,000 was given to Public Works to do whatever was done there. As a person who worked 21 years, 5 months at Public Works, I don't think what happened down there was Public Works' fault, because 90% of the work that happened down there, I did not see Public Works doing it. A few drains and so I see Public Works maybe doing that, and the culverts, yes, that was being done by Public Works. I would like to ask, roads are going to be that's really, really, really good, wide enough. And if that part or that concrete road or the concrete every 6 months for Cochrane, the top part of the Cochrane road from where we call Loss to the village would be very, very, very good now. So that, now the rabbits, I am a rabbit farmer too. I went to the Ministry of Agriculture. As a matter of fact, I went to Wesley to pick up rabbits so that I could improve my stock. I saw wire, a lot of rabbit wire up there, and I asked about it, and Dr. Thomas told me and whatever. I went to the place downstairs DBMC, and they told me $650 a foot. I need to be able to do 8 more kgs. This afternoon, the extension officer for here came here and told me to build 1 cage. I need 32 feet of wire. I'm not going to be able to build 32. To be able to build 8 kgs. I will be able to do that maybe with time. You understand? But that's where I want to get 8 more kgs so that I can provide the Rabbit Festival Committee with the meat. But when we're talking about the Rabbit Festival Committee and giving the meat to the Rabbit Festival Committee, I think I can speak for most of the rabbit farmers in Cochrane. We have our rabbits, and we want to give the Rabbit Festival Committee the meat. As you know, rabbits, every 30 or so, this rabbit make little ones. But why? Because I don't want to take the time and the cost to freeze rabbit meat over time. Okay? Thank you for the time being.
Yeah, Mr. Richards should know that if he say he's been coming here since 1972 or 78, that when we came here as a government, every single road in Cochrane is in bad state. Every single one. And if you see any road that is good shape now in Cochrane, is the Dominica Labour Party government that did that. Every single one of them. Including the roads on a private development, because there was somebody who owned a lot of land and sold lots to people and never put water for them, never put light for them, never even give them roads. So all of the roads you see in Cochrane, whether it's the back road, whether it's the middle road, whether it's the one to the playing field, whichever road you see here in Cochrane, this Labour Party with the leadership of Dr. McIntyre implementing these roads and so forth. I have lamented on the condition of the road. And we have given a commitment to improve the roads. We have spent monies on the roads. The first $500,000, as you may not have heard, we have committed an additional $1 million that is available right away to commence. And we, in the new budget coming, will also allocate an additional amount to improve the roads over a phased basis. So that's what we access. And you will have seen engineers doing surveys on the back access. Because what we want to ensure is that Cochrane can become a bypass if the Antrim area collapses eventually. So we're looking at the back road with a view to creating a 2-lane road, and that is much safer in the event that we have to use Cochrane as a bypass from. So, yes, we can say what needs to be done, but we must never lose sight of what has been done. And we must give credit where credit is due, and we must say something and so forth. And we must not give anybody the impression that this part has done nothing in his community. We have done a lot. Yes, there's a lot to be done, but do not forget that when this part inherited and we inherited Cochrane, Cochrane was in bad shape. You understand? Cochrane was in bad shape. And over time, we have been able to improve and so on. Look at the playing field. I used to come to Cochrane and so forth, and it was a little place for playing field. We had to buy the land to extend the playing field. A lot of work has been done in the playing field. Yes, we have to put the lights. Yes, we have to put the washrooms there so that when you have the Rabbit Fest, that people can use the washrooms. And they have sports, you can use the washrooms. And yes, we work with the Rabbit Fest people to build a permanent stage so that we don't have to be building and breaking up, so that we can have long-term infrastructure in the place. And we prepare to work with you to achieve those things and so forth. So let us not live here tonight with any disagreement on our side. All of us say that we're all on the same wavelength in respect to the condition of the roads and what needs to be done on the roads and so forth. And all I said is that the $500,000 which we spend on the road should have been better spent. Better spent. And as a Prime Minister, I take full responsibility for it. I don't set aside my responsibility. So we're committed to that to you and so on. In respect to the rabbits and so forth, I will say that anybody who wants to get into rabbits in a big way, you can in fact go to the loans at the aid bank and get loans to do the rabbit program. You can do that. The project which we're offering is this, and we in fact attempted, and the gentleman from the beekeepers and the farmers group mentioned it, Nelson, Mr. Nelson, that we did in fact provide people with support there some years ago in terms of the cages and helping them and so forth, and it was not properly. What we would like to do is to have a central body here in Cochrane overseeing it. And then you have satellite farmers. You see what I'm saying? Who can provide the meat and so forth. So you have a central body who will be overseeing the government investment, whether it is the farmers group, whether it's the Rabbit Fest group, whichever you among yourselves you decide in consultation. But I'm giving a firm commitment to providing funds from the government to have Cochrane be self-sufficient insofar as rabbit meat for the Rabbit Fest, and also supplying the rest of the country and the supermarkets for rabbit meats and so forth. So we're committed to that. The issue of the investment in beekeeping, Mr. Nelson, is a matter I will raise with the aid bank and to have this clarified with them. So I will do so tomorrow, and I'm sure they're listening, so they have taken note of this particular issue. We're in discussion about the farmers group request. We'll need some clarification and more details on some of the points that the farmers group has raised in the letter to the Parliament rep. We had a discussion on it yesterday and also today again. So he will meet with you so that the farmers group can be more specific as to the particular area of needs. He has some ideas and he didn't want to go into details with it. I'm sure he'll respond to this. But these are things that we spoke about yesterday while we were at the Kalanago territory and also this morning at my office. So let's understand that there's a lot to be done, but also we have done some things. And with regards to the loans at the aid bank, the $10 million, at 3% for 6 months grace period on the payment of interest and principal. And it is not the first time we've put money at the aid bank. We've put money at the aid bank at 2% interest. We've put money at the aid bank with 50-50 for farmers. 50% loan, 50% grant. So if a farmer took a loan of 30%, 15,000 was a loan and 15,000 was a grant to the farmer. And many farmers across Dominica took advantage of this and so forth, investing in the farm. Because we believe that yes, we will push tourism, yes, we will push the services, but agriculture must remain as the bedrock of the Dominican economy and the Dominican way of life. And I believe in agriculture. I believe agriculture has an important part to play to feed our people. And there are markets for agricultural produce. But a farmer cannot want a market when somebody comes to buy dashing for him and they expect dashing to be planted and harvested in one night. And that's where you have pretty lasting taking place in Dominica. But once a farmer is very diversified, you must be diversified to make a living in agriculture. It is not in the days when you had bananas in the 80s, where every week you're getting a check because you had a secured market in the UK. Times have changed. Things have changed. There are new trade rules. We no longer have the preferential treatment for bananas. We can't compete with Latin America because the labor in Latin America and African countries are dramatically cheaper than our labor here in Dominica. So, but once you the regional markets, the domestic markets, and from my own little experience in agriculture, things are selling. But you have to have things planted, and you must be diversified. I have sold numerous crops, numerous produce to hucksters and supermarkets in Dominica. You know, and I can tell you, I've even seen photographs of my crops in supermarket shelves in BVI and St. Thomas and so on. That's as far as my little produce going and so on. But on the road issue, I am totally committed to improving the access to Cochrane and so forth. There are some sections from the lower end which must be widened. There are some sections at the top end which must be widened. But in large measure, the rest of the road is large enough, and there's no need to go and spend a huge sum. Most of these sections of the roads are large enough. But if we can improve from this last house there, this lady who is 100 years old, down the road there, from there go up, improve the corners there and so forth. I know the road very well, Mr. Richards and so on. You know, I have taken keen interest in this road and so on. And I know the challenges. We have on the flat by the prison officer there, where the water is a problem. We have to improve the drainage and driveways. You know, I have a friend here who used to work at the hospital and who was very kind to me when I was at the hospital. I can't remember her name. But I think she is a Nelson. She used to be a Nelson. She used to work at the hospital. You know, I think she has a home in there too. Simon now. So there's a home there. We need to improve the access to the homes. So there's some work to be done on the roads, but we are certainly committed to the road. This is why I'm committing $1 million now. And in the budget coming, we'll also put an additional amount so we can continue the road gradually. I can't tell you that I have all of the money to do the road, because we sent somebody here this week to do a quick assessment for us, to look at the asphalting of the whole road, the widening of the whole road, and they came up with a budget, with a cost of $15 million. I find it to be extraordinarily high. You see what I'm saying? So I have told the people to will and come again and let us discuss about the details, because I find it to be very high and so forth. Okay? But let us understand the committee. And Mr. Nelson, I will certainly call the bank to clarify this issue with regards to your particular request. Thank you.
Thank you, Prime Minister. Okay, we'll take the second round. Yes, well, okay. And then come here.
Good night
Yes.
to the head table, and good night to our dear Prime Minister. I have a question, a burning question. I want to say thanks for the NEP. I am awarded at the Princess Margaret Hospital. And I want to give thanks to my PM and also my PAL rep. We, the NEP wardeds at the PM, when we arrived at the senior wardeds, look up at us. But we went in and we did our work, and I can tell you, the NEP wardeds, we worked. We are working, okay? And it tells us. But one thing I have on my heart is that when we work, sometimes the money that we bring home, we would want to like take loans to bring up our families or to be better in life. And we cannot, when we go to our institution, they said, because we are under the NEP, we can't take a loan, and sometimes break our heart. And the PM, I want you to address that. Sometimes we work at night, and they are saying to us we can't get our night nourishment. And sometimes it's really heartbreaking that you work at night, you sacrifice your home. Some of us have children, and we are working, and we can't get it. So I would like you all to address this for us. Thanks so much.
Thank you, Delo. Okay, I think we have our friend right here. Yeah.
Good evening, everyone.
Sure. Good night.
Let me see. Since I've been Cochrane, that's the first time a sitting government has been here in that capacity. So let me commend you all for that.
Thank you very much.
Also, I remember some years ago, Mr. PM said that every Thursday is constituency day, and he would advise his members to go out to their constituency. I know a month has 4 Thursdays. If Cochrane can at least get a Thursday, that would be good. Instead of I have to hear, my parrot was there today, and I didn't know that because it was never announced. But if you give us, if it's the first Thursday, the second Thursday, whatever Thursday, whatever hours, it would be good at least the whole community is aware that every first Thursday you're there from 2 to 5. It may not be to always ask you something, it might be to give suggestions or so. That's my take where that is concerned.
Okay, my dear.
And another thing, well, we talk about agriculture and talk about farming, but most of the farmers in the village have access to land, have no backyard for rabbit. What do you want? What can you do? Or do you have land to lease? Or let me know something.
Okay, your point well taken. Hold on a while. No, let's go with some new ones. No. Everybody a chance, please.
Good evening to the head table, Honorable Prime Minister, Mr. Kelvedaro, Dr. Mark.
Yes.
Okay. I have a question. As a taxi operator, I have been looking at the way people work. You know, you have public work workers. They were patching the road in Monbros. And you know, you have 3 fellas digging the holes. And you have 20 of them looking at them. Why? You understand? And then what I'm saying is the government have to pay those guys. That is waste of money. No. What I'm getting at there now is whether they haven't got supervision for these guys. You understand? What time they come to work and what time they leave. You understand? You should be supervising those guys. There should be people going around and looking at them to do what they have to do. You understand what I mean? I mean, at day work, let me tell you something, Dr. Mark. From since it was 3:40 this morning, I'm on my toes to make $1. Whereas the other set is just get money, and they are the government for money. Mm-hmm. You understand? But they are not working, they are lazy. All right?
Thank you. Go ahead. We have, at the back, we have 3 more there. Kendall, let's make the wrongs go on. One man can't speak for the night bus. Yeah, relax. No, let it. Okay. Calm down, brother. Calm down.
Good evening.
Yes, my dear.
Prime Minister, I need to talk about the trail to the Milham Falls. Because I was up there about 3 weeks ago, and I can tell you it's terrible. Terrible. So we need to work on that trail to the Milham Falls. It's not only the road to the Milham Falls, the road reaching to the top, we need to work on the trails.
Good evening, Mr. Prime Minister, and Dr. Mark, and Kelvedaro. Standing here on behalf of my husband, who is not here with us tonight. He's out of state. My husband, who is not here tonight, he's out of state. He's a guy who fell from a tree while working for Dominica. And he is wheelchair bound since 2008. He still wants to thank you, Prime Minister, for helping save his life, because if it wasn't for your assistance, surely he would not be alive. However, since his accident 8.5 years ago, life has changed and become very difficult for us. He has filled in 2 forms of the small business unit. And he is just disappointed that he has not been considered or given a chance to feed his family. He is asking you, please intervene and make sure he is given the financial assistance he needs to start a small business to look after himself and family. Not anyone on a wheelchair is willing to work as my husband. He is one of the most successful entrepreneurs in this village, and he is really asking for another opportunity to get back in business. At present, we have a form at the small unit program. We just sent it in last month, and we are just asking whether you could give us some assistance to have our business open.
I'll address your concern shortly. We'll take 2 more and then we'll start to answer some questions. Yes, sir.
Yes, good evening, Dr. Mark and our Prime Minister. It's good to have you here in Cochrane. Question. Read a small business assistance. Is there a monitoring system in place for that? And my reason for asking the question is that I listened to a similar meeting like this, which was held in Luda. And our PAL rep said something which got me laughing when he said that some guys, really the Tito Gorge, the lifeguards and so on, some guys have retired. And I said the PAL rep is on point. He knows what he's talking about. Because I'll tell you what, Doc, a day before that, there was this young guy who I know to some extent have retired, and he was boasting to a visitor to the island, right, that he's okay. All he have to do is just go to his PAL rep. Just go to his PAL rep and boasting away to this visitor. Now I'm saying there might be many more like him who simply take advantage of the benevolence of the PAL rep and especially the Prime Minister. So this is why I'm asking if there is a monitoring system in place, the small business assistance which is given not just to Cochrane but nationwide. That's my question tonight.
Excellent point. We'll take one more and we'll start again.
Yes. Mr. President, I'm so glad I'm here tonight, and also you. You said something some times ago about your heart. And I'm so glad, and I know what you say, it is true. Your heart, it is for everybody, not only one set, but all of us that is here. You have a powerful heart and a good mind towards your people. And I say, if the rest of your members had that same heart, I believe all the vote would be yours. Now, I want to speak about life. There are some people, when they went to the hospitals, they went with some pains in their stomach. Sometimes they went for surgery. And then when they get that surgery, they get it very bad. Sometimes they have to live here and went to overseas. And when they went overseas, doctors have to ask them, who is that person that make you that surgery? Who's that person that said you have cancer? You know? Because why I say that, I have a daughter at my home that had an accident right in the hospital in Dominica with a nail prick. And the doctor make an operation, and they make it so bad. And when my daughter asked him questions, tell him if she believe it's a mistake, he find he was vexed. He write until I go to overseas. And she went. And she come back with more of the food cut. And since December, she's crying home, pains, she couldn't sleep all night long, and all of us. Okay, so I said that there should be a law for when mistakes happen. Now, the other thing again, when somebody's sick, you send letters to the government. Sometimes we blame governments, but sometimes it's not the government, it's the people. Because when they sit down on the bench, they put that letter under the table and they forget about you, and you stay home and you die. And we blame government. Now, the other thing again, we have people in the hospital that is, some of them not seeing, some cannot speak. And what I observe, the people that come and bring the lunch or supper for them, they stay at distance and they say, you want milk? You want rice? I believe that's not right. Sometimes they take it and they put it on the table. And if you take it, you take it. If you don't take it, you don't take it. When you go home, you have more gas than what you had already. So I believe they're supposed to come closer and speak to the people, because sometimes that person couldn't hear.
do their business better than that. Okay. And the other one again, I would like to know when doctors come up here in this village, they come to give medicine, right? And then we have some older people, they couldn't go down to town, and sometimes it is hard to get somebody to go to town to get that medicine. And we don't see in this pharmacy, it's coming up for a long time. The pharmacy is not coming up here. And it's a problem to get the medicine. When doctor come here last time here, they gave me to send for medicine. I sent my daughter my book. When she reached, they said no plastic, nothing to put the medicine. They come back without none. If I die, there's supposed to be a reason, there's supposed to be something for that. Speak to the, have a meeting with this kind of people. You know, because I stayed for the whole week. I had to use my children own because what they had is that I had. You see? Now, the other thing again. when doctors send you at your home and they give you a letter to give the nurses that is in the village to see about you, I would like to know if any time something happened to that person at the home, if you have the right to call the nurse to come and come and see about you. I would like to know. Because sometimes you call them and you don't get them. Sometimes they say they're sick. Sometimes they don't sick at all. And you stay there and you die. That is all for tonight.
Okay, thank you very much. Okay, let me address some of the concerns you were late, as well as, I think, Kendall, you were late too, because all of the questions you all asked, other than the specific questions, personal questions, we addressed them. We spoke about the road, we're not happy about it, the Prime Minister addressed that, so I won't go there. The Middleham Road, Mr. Nelson, we also spoke about that. And right now we are doing the estimates for it, because we have a policy in government where we're looking at all the primary roads, of course. We're looking at the secondary roads as well. We'll talk a little about, we'll do a little something just now on that. But we're also looking at the feeder roads. As you know, it's this government to build the Springfield Road after close to 40 years. And we plan to fix up the Middleham part, which was built under the Freedom Party. And then, so we'll do it. So you're probably late for that one. The Prime Minister will address the other issues at the bank for you. And we understand. And of course, I will discuss more with you and the farmers group, the plans for the farming aspect. But not only with the farmers group, the rest of the farmers as well too. Because I think you have some farmers who are not part of your group who would need some help as well too. So we'll work with that. The question to do with the first day visits, yes, you're quite true on that. Sometimes you'd hear that the PAL rep was here, and because you work in town, you wouldn't meet the PAL rep. So we can look at the timing and even maybe to sit for a little while where people can come and discuss, you know. So I respect your point completely. The taxi operators you brought up there, that's a question we have always been lamenting on, the attitude of the people who fix the roads, and we are with you. I think we have to change the attitude towards work, and you know, because that's technically what happened to us down there. But I won't go in that area with you, Mr. Kendall, because we spoke about that. But I agree with you. The attitude is terrible. You know, we have to work, man. We have to show dedication, hard working, and you know, respect the whole thing of work. I agree with you, 100%, Saxon. Joanne, your trail to the Middleham Falls, yes. We would like to build back the whole aspect of getting people to come through Cochrane to go to the Middleham Falls, even build up the whole stinking hole program and get tourists to come here again. So if our group look like it's empowered again, the VIC working, and if we can get some, you know, subcommittees who have interests, like say tourism, where we can work with the VIC, and then the VIC can champion the cause, rep, through the relevant authority, then we can do certain things. Because your trails would come under forestry. So I will notify forestry that there's need for some, you know, rehabilitation of the trail to go to the Middleham Falls, because we'd like Cochrane to be benefiting from it as well too. Mr. Valerie, I feel your pain, but we'll talk about your pain first. But my dear, your husband who was injured, as you know, we have helped him for sure. Very, very unfortunate accident. Young man, hardworking, very, very unfortunate, irreversible accident. But I'm happy to hear that he has injuries in small business. We have assisted. I am willing to assist through our program. The Prime Minister just pledged $200,000. I see no reason why your husband couldn't benefit from something that he can find himself gainfully employed, because It's a very, very unfortunate accident, to be honest with you. Very unfortunate. So I feel your pain, I feel his pain for sure. And I don't play with health at all. So we'll talk about it in terms of your form and how we can address you for sure. Mr. Valerie, yeah, I listened to and felt your passion there. I understand the program. Before I go to Mr. Valerie, because I'll end on Mr. Valerie on this wrong here. Tom, you mentioned about the monitoring of the small business funds. The small business office goes out, they assess the people and see what's happening. You'll always find one or two bandits in there that will want to call the PAL rep name and whatnot, saying that, his PAL rep protects him and whatnot. I would like to know that person, but I cannot recall giving anybody in the Tito Gorge area money from small business recently, but we can discuss that. To be honest with you, I can't recall giving anybody. I know a lot of them employed under the NEP, but not small business, because, most of the guys who are there, the serious ones, they rent their what do you call it, the gear for swimming inside there. But you always find out two fellas who take their little actual fluid sometimes, in terms of get them a little confused, and fellas say certain things. But we'll continue to monitor it, I agree with you. Mr. Valerie, your pain was felt there. As you know, I have a serious health program. I run for the Rosa Valley. I don't call people names because that's something, professional ethics. I cannot call people's names. I understand clearly what's happening. I know of some of the problems. I've been discussing it. But I'd prefer to discuss that with you privately rather than discuss that here. But I felt your pain for sure. And what you brought out here is something burning inside you. And you brought it out at all different levels. I'm aware of it. But I prefer to discuss that privately with you rather than through everybody here. And on radio, because everybody listening to us. The nurse in the village aspect, of course, we have a nurse here. The doctor's aspect, we spoke about getting the road fixed up at the back so we can access here. But more and more, we'll see what we can do for the folks here who are, say, homebound. Not many, but there are a couple of us here who probably need that. And this calls for young people in Cochrane embracing medicine so we can have our own doctor here probably in the next 4 or 5 years. So I'd like to urge our people here, those of you going to college and who want to, take advantage of the opportunities that this government has provided. Let's get at least 2 free doctors from Cochrane. So I'm tasking you with that tonight. So we have our nurses, our doctors, and whatnot. But that's the first one. But Mr. Valerie, I'll speak with you after on some of the burning issues there. We'll take a last, I won't say 5, because 4. Because I want to do something with you, and I want you all to relax so we can do some one-on-one dialogue after. It's getting late, and I want you to go to work tomorrow to handle the weather. What is this again? Oh, the land aspect. Well, we have land over there, but the land was really purchased for housing and the playing field expansion. Some of it is sloping, so we wouldn't be able to put houses on all of them. But though I wouldn't like to encourage any sort of strange agriculture there for our slope stabilization. But there's a lot of land in Cochrane, What about partnership and, sharecropping and share rabbit, whatever they call it now? Because unless I buy some land for you, it's going to be tight for me tonight. And I'll be honest with you, in the Rosa Valley, I've mentioned that Cochrane is the only place where we have acquired lands, we pay, but we pay the people right away, so we have land in Cochrane. But rabbits don't take much. So I'm sure we can find somebody that we can partner with in the meantime so we can raise some rabbits. I wouldn't take that as a serious limiting factor for raising rabbits in Cochrane. There's enough land here, and I'm sure there's somebody, I know, but it's tonight there. Okay, let's put it so. Tonight I cannot get you land, so we can discuss it after when I come on one of the first days that you want me to come for you to be there. Okay? Okay, we'll take our last 4 questions. 4. And what I'd like, to be honest, is let's make them questions, and let's not put 4 questions in one. Yes, sir.
Good evening.
Good evening, sir.
My name is Colin Smith. My wife, Wendy Smith. Good evening, Prime Minister. After 4 years, I've been trying to meet with you, and I have not been able to. Good evening, Dr. McIntyre, who we know. Good evening, Mr. Barrow. And good evening to my people of the village. You are all great to us, and I want to say thank you. My wife and I have made Dominica 2. I would like to address to you. 1, my wife and I have been farming for over 35 years. We are actually, if you are familiar with Mr. Nelson Simon's property up top, you're welcome. 2 years ago, I'm the one who cleared it. I did it with the equipment from the government, which needs to be discussed at a later time. But what I want to address is this gentleman over here mentioned about how am I going to freeze it? Well, I'll tell you right now, we have something, Mr. Prime Minister, and that's a pet project of yours, the abattoir. Why can we not use the abattoir to do this for the village? And also it would promote more the abattoir. Now, as far as Mr. Simon goes, I will let you know that it is imperative. I don't know if you know your research on bees. I am not a bee farmer, but since I have known Mr. Simon, I have done some research. And it is imperative, very much so, that we do something for the village and for the whole island for bees. Because I don't know if you know this, but the reason why we can't grow as much as we want to grow on the island is because of pollination. There's only really one way of pollinating, and that is through the bees. Sir, we have destroyed a lot of our agriculture due to chemicals. We need to get away from the chemicals. Our bees come back. I have known the island for 10 years. We've lived here for 4 years. And I know you know your land and you know your agriculture, sir, because that is what really puts you on the top of my list. Is that if we're without the bees, we're not going to go nowhere. We're just going to destroy the island, like a lot of them have, to include the U.S. The U.S., we talked about, thank you by the way, is also getting rid of Roundup within the next 5 years. It is already labeled to go. So please assist my people and get something done with those bees. And I be honest with you, I have tried to get a small business loan myself because we have come into major disaster since we've been here. And that's another story to be talked about later with yourself if possible. But they deserve it. You know, I mean, they're hard workers. I see them out in the fields every day. I've seen them working on little plots. And I think I used to farm 100 acres, and here they are fighting because of equipment problems. They need to be brought up to the ages. The government needs to assist them more so than what they are, sir. I hate to say that. I'm not degrading anybody. I'm just saying that being that I've been here, being involved with Minister Drago and the whole agricultural system, that we're trying, but we're not going far. And there's a few things that need to be done, and it's simple things. As far as financial, very low cost. You know, farmers here could be making an awful lot more. People know what I have up at my place behind up and back. I have very little. I'm actually growing seedlings for people in the whole town so they can have someone that has seedlings for them to buy. Okay, I've decided to do that. The other thing is, speaking of, I'm sorry, I'm going to jump and then I'm going to shut up. You need to get some sleep. You talk about the cages. The people here in town, I put this out to you. You know where I live. You know I have stuff that I could do it with. Bring the stuff up to me. I will build the cages for you. Okay? If I need nails or screws or something, you just bring them to me. Okay? My contribution is to build them for you. All right? Let's get this done. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much. Thank you. We'll take 3 more, but try to make them a little more, you know, package them shorter because, yeah. Yes, sir.
Good night, my parrot, and all ministers, and everybody here. We have we have a project going on in Cochrane, which is Dawa School. And it's a very big project. It is now going to a whole year now. And not one Cochrane person who was employed on that road. It's a big road, a well-concrete road, going right to the river to take that water to go back down to Springfield. I have applied, and 2 other persons have applied, and we have never get a job up to now. We wonder why, and the work is still going on. And we are Cochrane people, and it's our village. They said it is a company, but matters not. It is in our village.
Okay.
It is in our village. So that I'm asking why we cannot be employed. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Point well taken. We'll address it. We'll take one more and one more.
Yeah, on the behalf of our brother David, talk about the nurse. Our nurses, we have the nurse in Cochrane. She's willing to assist any and everybody in the village of Cochrane. One night my father fell sick. Look, he's right there. He fell sick about 12 o'clock and I went and called her and she assisted me. She did assist me. She came and assisted me. So, one thing if her, she have a love in her for her people. It's us that doesn't go and visit her. We stayed at our home. And we believe she will come to meet us. But it's us to go to her because we need her. We need her assistance.
Okay.
She's a loving nurse and I give her that credit for that.
Thank you. Thank you. Okay.
Good evening, everyone. Good evening, Prime Minister, Mr. Daru, and my pal. One question is very short. I live in Cochrane, but I bought some agricultural land in Bells. So I would like to know if I should join the farmers group here or the farmers group in Bells.
Okay, that's an easy one. I can handle that for you. We'll take the last question, Mr. Vanos.
Good night, PM. It's not anything that you'll have to. And out of my heart of heart, I would just like to congratulate you, PM. I feel so happy for seeing you here tonight. You are doing well, in spite of the heavy critics. You are doing a good job in our country. A very, very good job. So I just want to congratulate you for that, PM. Keep on doing the good works. Another one, PM, is that you see concerning that road down there, I have never been to high school to know what is percentage. But when Kendall said that 90% of Cochrane people was doing that work, that's a blatant lie. It's a clear lie because Public Works did the work on Cochrane. I personally had a wall. But because of workers I could not have gotten in Cochrane, I lost that job. The other person that completed her job was Don Williams. After that, Public Works, you see that bad wall they do down there? It's even cracking. I was doing that wall from foundation. I did all the steel from the foundation. When Labase finished, Labase tell me he cannot. When I asked him for the to ram the soil, Labase tell me, no, I'm tired if you work in there because of I do not have workers. So when my friend Kendall said 90% of Cochrane people work on that work, it was 90%. I will say 98% was Public Works. So you were right, 1 PM, when you say Public Works did a bad job.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, we'll take a last question from my friend here. Judge Davis. Shh. Order, please. Order. We can dialogue after, brother. No, well, we can do it. No. After. Kendall, you have to sleep tonight. Davis, go ahead.
Yes, question. What you are going to do, Mr. Prime Minister, for the farmers that plant in dashing?
Sorry.
Because I plant 15,000 dashing, and I was selling dashing for next year. I work hard. I spend a lot of money. I had to even transport people and even pay transportation, pay transportation and put gas too. And at a certain time, I used to sell for next year by 10 bags. After I used to sell by 8 bags. But after a certain time, when I went to them over and over. They told me to plant. They give me different contracts. And when I keep on seeing that happening, I stopped. Because I cannot go ahead again because I get fed up. You know? Right. Another thing I want again that you have to address. Yeah. No iron can sell, leadership stay in the ground and spoil. And that is bad business. I lose my funding. The other question I want to ask you again. Help to the next market. Develop. I can remember when I started farming. Later on when the government was there, I was one of the #1 farmers in Dominica. When I worked Centigate, I helped all them weavers in the market. You can go and ask them. It's me that developed them. All the weavers is in the market. It's me that started them.
Okay, Mr. Davis. Thank you. Great point. Okay, let me address some of your concerns. And then, because it's 10 o'clock now. Okay. Now the question raised by my good friend Mr. Smith here, well respected, the pollination and the bees, we understand that. As a matter of fact, we are quite aware of it in government as to, having this country more and more away from, the agrochemicals and, of course, looking at safe food production. And we understand the importance of bees, that's for sure. So I respect your point. The point you raised in terms of assisting the farmers here, that's a good idea. We'll welcome that, and we can work with the rabbit people here. There are little techniques for the cage building we can obtain from the livestock department, which will help us to even build them much faster. But that's a great one. Also too, the farmers group here, what we could do under the EU project, we have a number of little farm implements that are now available through the Ministry of Agriculture. So the farmers group can champion the cause for the farmers here, where we can get some of these small implements. And of course, even government, we can partner, and we would like to partner with the group for the sort of equipment and implements you see fit for operating in Cochrane. We have the flats in Cochrane, but we have the slopes too. Dominica is not a country where you can just run those tractors. It's not flat, stones. So any sort of equipment we see fit for Dominica and we can source it. We're more than willing to work with the farmers group on that. However, I'd urge the farmers group, and I'll work with the Ministry of Agriculture. So it's seen that we have some small implements we have right now from the EU, so if we can get something up here as well too. Mr. Valerie Dowasco they may be contracted someone private to do that job. And usually if someone private is contracted, they have their own specialized type of people they want for that kind of job, because they're building a new intake for Springfield because of the Red Gully and the mud. So sometimes they need engineers, different type of people, and not just, they need different people. And it's not government really. It's Dowasco contracting to a private individual, and they would have their specialized type of people they require. So I wouldn't say necessarily that they're bypassing you. Sometimes they may need, back operator, heavy equipment. So I wouldn't put it necessarily just like that, they're bypassing Cochrane people. No, I wouldn't do that. But your point is taken. Mr. Hector, you spoke very good of nurse. I wouldn't have to share more, but nurse, you got your kudos there, so I think you got it. Sometimes we blame, you see, healthcare is a very difficult thing. And you see, because of the people they feel sick, they're agitated. It's difficult for the doctors and the nurses sometimes, very difficult. But I still believe we want a good relationship between the two so we can care for the people. But nurse, you did very well there for sure. My friend here, you want to be in two farmers groups. I would recommend you join both, but don't double dip all the time. But if you have land in Bells and you have to farm in Bells, you have to be part of the Bells farmers group. If you want to farm in Cochrane, you can farm in Cochrane. Oh, you don't. But you can be part of the group where you can learn from Cochrane, because Cochrane has their farmer field school program. And the guys here are quite advanced, so you can take that knowledge to Bells And but I wouldn't say you'll take from both of them. And the last one here was my friend. You said you created all the weavers in town, Davis. Well, I know, man. I know. Yeah. But no, your point is taken. The thing about what you're talking about there is we have to always keep planting. You will catch the price when it is good. You'll catch it when it is low. So never stop planting. When it's low, that's when you must plant. Okay? Now the Prime Minister will answer the rest of them for me.
Yeah, we've taken note of all the points and suggestions and questions which you've raised. So I have taken my notes also. But my friend, with regards to the dashing, DEXA has an arrangement where it enters into a contractual obligation with some farmers. So DEXA provides you with the inputs and support on the farm, and in return you to supply DEXA the dashing so that DEXA can supply the markets it has contracted out of Dominica. The challenge that DEXA has sometimes is that it provides some farmers, I'm not talking about you here, some farmers with the contracts, with the inputs, and then they don't sell to DEXA. And that affects DEXA's ability to supply the markets that it has. You also have to understand too that the markets demand a particular type of produce. So they say no less than 3 pounds and no more than 7 pounds. And that there are certain planting methodology that you have to use, planting technique, in order not to have these huge dashes that we get excited about, because that's what the market wants. So we need to look at you may need to engage DEXA in more discussions. And I will raise it to them on your behalf, so they can engage in discussions to see what has gone wrong in that relationship. Because that's some of the challenges. But DEXA has a huge dashing market. And it's unable to sometimes to get the supply it requires on a weekly basis to supply the markets. So that's why when farmers tell me that they cannot sell a dashing, I believe sometimes it has to do with the practices and maybe a breakdown of relationship between the farmer and DEXA. But I have known in situations where DEXA is really searching around Dominica for dashing to supply the markets at the level we should supply. But I always tell farmers, I always caution farmers against having one crop. If you have one crop, my brother, you will cause your family to starve. You understand? Because something can happen with that one crop. A disease can fall in, some landslide can take it. And if you have one crop in farming, it is a bad way to do farming. You understand? Yes, one year you make a big money, but the other crop you might make no money at all because something will have gone wrong with that farm. So my advice to people, and also you have to stagger the planting. If you plant 15,000 dashing plants at one time, I would advise you to do 5,000 now, 5,000 next month, and 5,000 the other month, so that you will have several months of supply in the markets and so forth. But if you plant 15,000 one time, all ripe at the same time, because dashing has, once you see it reach the ripening stage, you must take it out. Otherwise, it will turn. You understand? Start rotting in the soil itself. So all of these things we need to look at. But certainly we will need to get DEXA to ensure that they provide you the support you require, and that you can be able to sell your dashing on a regular basis. But I have met with dashing farmers who have lamented the same concern which you have expressed to me in other parts of the country. So it's not only you. You understand? It is a challenge that we all have, and we all have to share experiences, share knowledge, so that we can all be better at what we do and more understanding of what we do and so forth. But once you're, because, today you might sell some okra, tomorrow next week you might sell some yam, next week you might some dashing. And at the end of the week, at the end of the month, when you add these things up, you can have a decent income. But if you have one thing, sometimes you might sell everything, next time you might sell nothing, because there is a demand and supply phenomenon. Sometimes the demand is high, and you're great. Sometimes the demand is low, and so forth. But I know the problem Dexter has is that some farmers don't keep up to the agreement which they have with Dexter. And it's the same thing with peppers. Dexter enter into agreements with farmers with peppers. But maybe Dexter might be offering him 5 cents or 10 cents less. And somebody pass and offer him 10 cents more. And they sell to the huckster. And then when Dexter come to them, they run and hide under the dashing leaf. So these are some things. I have known many farmers who've anytime they see Dexter coming, they run and hide, They don't want Dexter to see them because they got fertilizer, they got inputs, they got some assistance in the farm. And they sold the dashing and the peppers, and they run away from Dexter and so forth. But we've taken note of the concerns. My friend about the NEP at the hospital will investigate this matter because you have a legitimate concern. The folks who raised the question about the loans of the aid bank, the roads and the different roads to the Midland Falls, we've all taken note of this. My friend, Mr. Valerie, and your sick daughter, I promise you I'll come visit your daughter sometime. So we can talk, along with Dr. Mark, talk about more of the specific challenges which you have. All of you who have raised the issues, my friend, Mrs. St. Louis, I did get a WhatsApp message from Mr. St. Louis a couple of weeks ago. So he's in touch with me by WhatsApp. Can you imagine people in touch with the Prime Minister by WhatsApp in Dominica? I'm not sure. Our friends here are from America. I'm not even sure whether he has contact with his governor. No Dominica now. But we take note of this, and certainly we'll try to provide some assistance to your husband to gain field employment. And I must say that, notwithstanding his own physical challenge now, before he fell ill, he was a very hardworking person, and he continued in that spirit even after being on a wheelchair. And I think people like that should be examples to so many young people and so many of us who sometimes just sit down and complain. If you have 2 hands and you have 2 legs and you can breathe, my brother, you should be able to do something for yourself. We cannot always just complain. We have, as the French people say, non ippolite. Play with non ippolite. We have to do something, and before something do us. But thank you very much, my dear friends. I'm happy to be here. Great interaction. We will not always agree on every points, but that's part of democracy. But it's good that you can meet your power rep in this setting, you can meet your government in that setting, and you can share with him your vision for your community, your personal concerns, the concerns of your family, concerns in Cochrane, the concerns in Dominica, and how you believe we can make life better for all of us in Dominica. So thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Honorable Prime Minister. Just before we end here, we have something, last little program here. I just want to thank you for coming here tonight. As the Prime Minister mentioned, it was frank discussion. We were able to interact with each other. And I'd like to say, this is not a partisan program because we see all different colors here. And that's what I like about it. And what I'd like to leave with you here tonight is to make sure that when we come again, that we can say to you that we have addressed these problems, we want to move on to new ones and continue to build that relationship, because Cochrane is very, very special to the Dominican Labour Party, and we'd like to build it even more. Okay? Now, so thank you all for coming tonight. We have some light refreshments after. We'll partake for a little while, and then we'll get to our home so we can be ready for tomorrow. But before I close tonight, I'd like to call the chairman of the Village Improvement Committee, and the Prime Minister will hand him something in that envelope. I'm not too sure of it, but we'll check it out.
It's a check from the government of $146,487 to do a concrete road on the Diasitan. So we're utilizing as we do in every part of the country, the local authorities, the community-based organizations, to assist us. And in your case, we utilize it, and we'll be engaging contractors from Cochrane to do these roads and so forth. I can say to Mr. Piper and to all of you that this check can be cashed anywhere in Dominica. It won't be bounced at all. So I want to thank you.
Okay, good evening to every one of you. We want to thank the Honorable Prime Minister. We want to thank the Honorable Prime Minister of Dominica, Mr. Roosevelt Skerritt. We want to thank our parrot, as Mr. Collins McIntyre, my good friend, and also Mr. Daru for being here tonight. And I also want to thank the people of Cochrane, the villagers, for turning out in large numbers. Thank you very much for coming out in large numbers tonight. And I also want to thank the Prime Minister and the government of Dominica for this check they has presented to the people of Cochrane, especially to the Desitan Road. I want to say thank you very much, and God will continue to bless you for this great check you have given us to complete the road at the Desitan area. So thank you, and God bless the government of Dominica. Thank you very much.
Okay. So, in closing, also, just to say thank you to the VIC, Mr. Piper and his team, for all of you who have worked hard to make this place look presentable for tonight in welcoming our Prime Minister and all of you here. And this is what we want, to work, central government working with local government for the upliftment of the village and the people. We all benefit as a win-win. So thank you very much for coming tonight, and have a great night. We'll see you downstairs. Thank you.